Tonight on the Black Channel, Get Your Booty to the Polls has a brand new soundtrack you're ready to cringe over. The Black Channel is live. Unapologetic, unadulterated, and absolutely uncompromising. Greetings, brothers and sisters from around the world, and welcome back to the home, the haven, the stronghold, and the everlasting super fortress of intelligent black thought. We are the Black Media, and this is the Black Channel. And I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, the voice of Black America, the Black Authority, broadcasting to you live from the only historically black college university of higher education and learning in the entire cosmos. You are, of course, welcome to join us. And join us you shall, because on tonight's program here, I apologize in advance for the maximum amount of cringe that you will have to endure here. I would love to be able to just tell you that I did it for you so you wouldn't have to do it, but that would be a lie, basically, is what that would be. Man, oh man, oh man. So, Kamala Harris decides that she's going to go ahead and go ahead and have a campaign rally here, and I'm sure most of you had heard about that, but if you hadn't heard about it and seen it, you haven't heard it and seen it until I've weighed in on it. You have not heard about it and seen it until I've weighed in on it. The stars were out, such as they were. The stars were out, including Quavo. Don't worry, we're going to get to that too. But Meg Thee Stallion was out there, and we're going to get copyright strikes aplenty tonight. There will be copyright strikes aplenty tonight, is the first thing here. So, Kamala Harris has her rally, and by the way, this thing has got hundreds of thousands of views. So she is apparently rather proud of this. Even after all the attention has gotten, she's rather proud of it. Brace yourselves for copyright strikes. Brace yourselves for lame, dare I call it, music. I'm not being mean-spirited. You can hear it for yourselves.
Grammy award-winning superstar and philanthropist. Everybody go crazy right now for Meg Thee Stallion!
Oh, there go my eardrums. Oh, why did I not turn that down? Oh, my apologies to all of you who had any glassware or silverware anywhere, champagne glasses anywhere near around. I'm sure we just blew out your entire, all your silverware and the glasses and plates. I'm sure we just cracked all of them. Windows. If you wear glasses, we cracked every lens within the continental U.S. So that was brutal. And philanthropist. What? Will someone please explain to me how Meg Thee Stallion qualifies as a philanthropist? Does stuffing dollars down other women's underwear qualify as philanthropy?
Nigga, please.
I'm just wondering. Because if that qualifies as philanthropy, then there's a whole bunch of dudes in here. Y'all need to stop with the CEO business card thing. You got a whole different thing you can put on your resume. Yes, sir. If stuffing dollars down chicks' drawers qualifies as philanthropy. Hey, man, this is my charity. Okay, well, that guess that goes ahead and sorts that out. Okay, what was up with the screen shaking?
It's at the Harris for President for
Yeah, what was up with the screen shaking? They changed cameras and it's just like, okay, what is this, Star Wars?
For Meg Thee Stallion!
Okay, who is the chick back here? Who is this chick back here? Yes! Yes! Baby, come on now. What is going on? The glasses, the hair, the build. It's too much. She built like a bottle of Malox. It's too much. There's too much going on right back here. Too much happening. Now, this is the part that upset a lot of us, a lot of people there. She comes out the gate, and I guess she has to self-censor herself from some of the real lyrics. This is what they lead with. This is what you throw out there. I mean, you all got together. They had to get together and plan this and arrange this and organize this and get this ready for show. This is what they had to do. And this is what she comes out the gate with. I'm sick of niggas. Oh, let me self-censor there.
Forget being good, I'm a pain. I'm sick of trying to tell me how to live.
All right. I don't know which words that she's editing herself out there for. I don't know which ones she's dropping. But by the way, so glad we got to come right out the gate with that. I mean, that's right up there with God Bless America. Now remember, Kamala Harris and her campaign organized this. They booked this. They consciously put this together. This was the best they could do, and they had time since Joe Biden has dropped out of the race. They had time. Yes, this is real. Yes, don't you see it up here? No, this is not CGI. This is not AI. This is real. Why perform the song? Because this is what they think of black people. That's the point. There isn't a real black person in the room. You got Simone Sanders and Roland the Bowling Ball Martin. That's who you have advising them. You know, if you went and got Meg the Stallion, that would be good. She's almost as big as Beyonce. That's Roland Martin and Simone Sanders. Fresh off a Big Back Barbecue. That's a great idea. This is the brain trust that you have coming up with these ideas.
My pictures on the gram. You better hope I never run the caution. In the mall with her, mama have a ball with her. Somebody call Rihanna, I'm about to draw with her.
In the mall with him, I'ma have to brawl with him. This is the Harris campaign. Are you serious? Okay, do you know what I smell? You know what I sniff? I sniff a mixed chick. I sniff a mixed chick who is trying to overcompensate on blackness. But she doesn't actually have any connection to black people, so she sits around with a bunch of white folk, and what the best they can do is to come up with a caricature of a people that she doesn't know, doesn't understand, doesn't have any respect for. So she makes a caricature of black women because she doesn't actually know any. Kamala Harris didn't grow up with any black women. So her idea of black women is the same as Lily Adams and Hillary Clinton and the rest of them. You're taking a look at the work and the opinion of a woman who has no frame of reference. Her frame of reference is, well, don't you all listen to Meg the Stallion and Cardi B and Phife Dawg and Snoop Dogg and Big Dog and Red Dog and... So that's literally her frame of reference. By the way, you see the white dudes back here. Oh, nothing says cringe like that face right there, is it? Oh, no rhythm whatsoever. No rhythm at all. I'm like, okay, back the camera up.
Night love time with me. You'll never catch me calling these me and daddy. I ain't lying, mama. Just to make them happy. Lifestyle winner, can't bitter. It never happened if the wasn't happened. I'm a hot girl.
Really? I mean, just understand, this is Kamala Harris in Atlanta. This is her leading with her best foot forward now.
I do hot. Finishing come on my outfit. Don't take quick, 'cause I ain't thirsty. These dudes mad, they wanna hurt me. I'm a hot girl. I do hot. Finishing come on my outfit. Don't take quick, 'cause I ain't thirsty. These dudes mad, they wanna hurt me. I do hot. Let me see your hands, Atlanta.
I do hot what, man? Why don't you go ahead? Kamala Harris has already dropped the F-bomb in front of the Asians, so I don't understand why you wouldn't. Folks, this is Kamala Harris's campaign stop in Atlanta. This is what she thought was good enough. I just want you to understand that this is what she thought was good enough here. This is what she thought was a great idea. I mean, her people planned this now.
I love they body. Real hot girl. And if
Stop, keto.
now I know my ladies in the crowd love they body. Real hot.
The only thing moving is on that stage. There's nobody in the audience moving. You want to see disaffected voters? Y'all want to see disaffected voters? The little white woman right down here is the most hype thing here. This is nothing but an audience. They're sitting still. Let me tell y'all right now, for a public performance, this is cringe beyond cringe. To Meg's credit, she didn't let that dissuade her. So congratulations, Meg. You dead audience there. She didn't let that dissuade her. But yeah, by the way, in case you didn't know, it's the audience.
And if you want to keep loving your body, you know who to go for. Hey.
Oh, there she is. Okay, because twerking, and that's good. Wiggle your butt cheeks. So they didn't have the other camera behind her. By the way, you notice, I noticed watching this that's what they kept doing. Every time she kept doing that move there where she's twerking, they had the camera in front of her. So they didn't switch views to the one that's behind her. They had the one in front of her. So they knew what they were doing. It's like, okay, hopefully people will not notice, or it won't be too obvious, or okay, it's obvious but not too obvious, or you won't be able to show booty meat wiggling. So
I love they body. Real hot girl. And if you want to keep loving your body, you know who to go for. Hey.
now remember, Kamala Harris's campaign booked this, organized this, promoted this. This was their idea. They gave her the song list. They approved of it. This is a Kamala Harris production, which is why tonight's program is about hoe politics. What? Maybe I didn't get to put it in the title like I would because YouTube would ding me. But folks, Kamala Harris's idea of black women is hoe politics. You've heard of gang politics. You've heard of prison politics. Well, this is hoe politics. You love your body, don't you? Okay, let's throw all the bastard kids out here. And in case you don't want to keep it because the fella's not going to marry you nor commit, okay, let's go ahead and throw this little bastard into a wood chipper. So she's got Kamala in. Kamala has brought Meg Thee Stallion to Atlanta to get the hoe vote. All you hoes who are afraid that all that crazy reckless sex you have and then the herpes and STDs, in case those don't get you first, we brought Meg here because don't you all resonate with this?
Yeah. Body crazy, curvy, wavy. Yeah. Body crazy, curvy, wavy. Look at how I body that. Ate it up and gave it back. Yeah, you look good, but they still wanna know. See me in that dress and he felt like he almost tasted that. Num, num, num.
I mean, that's Folks, that's very disconcerting when you're having to drop out whole parts of the song. Maybe you're not the artist for us to bring here, you think? Damn! Folks, if you have to sit here and drop out entire sentences and whole sections of her song, maybe she's not the person to bring. Did you think about that, Miss Harris? Maybe this is not the person to bring here. Never mind the fact that this is completely disorienting to an audience. This is disorienting to fans. If you have to go through all this, either this isn't the song to sing, tell her to bring something new, or we just need a new artist altogether. This is not the person we need to have if we got to go through all this. And furthermore, what's your bang for your buck? Is the audience hyped? It's a bunch of bald-head little old ladies.
And deal with it, nigga.
No, I'm not being mean-spirited. I'm just saying. Come on now. Oh, what are our dancers doing? Oh, okay. I was just checking. What are our dancers doing?
See me in that dress and he felt like he almost tasted that. Num 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 num, eat it up. Okay, 3, 2, 1. You know I'm the hottest. You ain't never got it.
Okay, yeah, this is the hoe vote. Yeah. Twerk your way to the polls. Yeah. In front of a whole bunch of old white folk and senior citizens. So if you brought Meg there to get the youth vote, my point is, if you brought her there for the youth vote, you ain't getting much return on your investment. As evidenced by the audience, there's clearly not very much return on the investment. So you put a whole lot into this. I hope you're getting views for it because you sure didn't get the young folk for it, but all right.
What we talking about over here, y'all? Hey, if you love your body, let me hear you make some noise. And if you want to keep loving your body, ladies, let me hear you make some noise. Hey, body crazy, curvy, wait. Yeah, yeah. Body crazy, curvy, wait. Yeah, yeah.
Let me hear y'all make some noise. The noise they need to be making is leaving. But, yeah. I mean, you're talking to a bunch of senior citizens. How much noise do you expect them to make? Exactly how much noise are you expecting a room full of senior citizens to make, Meg? Y'all need to learn to do like Celine Dion and Billy Joel with a nice, polite audience sitting there. Meg gave it her best shot here. I give her credit as a performer. She didn't let it take her off of her game, so I give her credit as a performer. So she gets 10 points for effort, 2 points for accuracy. Oh, that's annoying. Yaddy, 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 yaddy. Oh. Sounds like you have a semi-flat tire going down the road. You know, like your suspension is squeaking. Yaddy, 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 yaddy. You're going down the road with a tire that's not inflated properly and your suspension is squeaky and yaddy, 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 yaddy. A buggy at the store that they didn't oil the wheels properly. Yaddy, yaddy, yaddy. I'm like, you made a song? This is what you call music? And then you all wonder why she can't release another album and can't sell anything. So there was an engineer. Think about this for a few moments. There was an engineer who had to sit in the studio and put this together. I'm sure it took him all of 6 minutes. But by the way, there was an engineer somewhere who had to sit in the studio and call this music and sit for hours mixing this down. And then your damn record label had to pay for this? All right.
They gon' click it if it's me. All my bitches been getting these through the quarantine. I'm very well. Come on, as you can tell. Got beef from years ago. It's beefing by himself.
This right here says it all. This right here says it all. As a matter of fact, I have a still picture of it. This right here says it all. They are waving their hands furiously. I mean furiously. And they're literally not even moving air.
Rule number one. Don't repeat that. They gon' click it if it's me.
Imagine doing a live performance at the senior citizens home.
Tell any that beef from years ago is beefing by.
This was Visit the Seniors Day.
Rule number one.
I mean, you're sitting up here performing your ass off, and yeah, the folks there is nothing. They can't get their walkers up high enough. I hope they're getting their aerobics in. Now, Jason, why are you continuing to play this here? Because there's something in particular I want you all to hear. And because I'm not a Meg fan, I don't remember exactly where it is. So, no, I couldn't be bothered to artifact it completely, but there's something else in there. Oh, what do you know? Somebody didn't switch camera angles fast enough. They didn't switch the camera angles fast enough, so get your booties to the poles! Get your booty to the poles!
I need everybody in the crowd to make some noise for Miss Harris. Make some noise for Miss Harris.
If you have to ask the audience to make noise, that's your first sign that you're in trouble.
Our future president. Let's get this done, Atlanta. Let's get this done, Atlanta. Let me come over here and talk to y'all.
Okay, who's errant, truant 5-year-old is banging on the piano for this song? What? I mean, folks, just a brief aside. As a musician, I am offended by what I'm hearing here. What in the hell is... You had an engineer put this together? You had a produce... Somebody spent studio time on this? Really? There are folks out there right now can't get a record producer to return their damn phone calls. Meg Thee Stallion was squishing this out of speakers at a music studio somewhere. And there's somebody out there with some unknown talent out there somewhere, can't get somebody to return their damn phone calls, but they got to sit here and listen to this?
Because the real savage is gonna get out there and vote. I'm a savage. Better too nasty. Talk big, but my bank account bad shit. Good, but I'm classy. Rich, but I'm ratchet. Haters kept my name in their mouth, now they can't.
See what I mean? Every time she would get Gerb to do that, they missed him the last time, but they're doing that on purpose. They did not want the camera angle from behind her to be showing when she starts twerking like that because they know the criticism that comes from her. So they kept switching those angles deliberately. They didn't get it every time, but you can see they're doing that on purpose.
It's a movie. I told that bro, we gotta keep it lonely meter. I've been the block and now it's hot. I'm Tucci, and I'm moving. I'm a savage, yeah. Classy, bougie, ratchet, sassy, moody, nasty, yeah. Hacking, stupid, what's happening?
That was the part I was looking for.
Lonely meter, I've been the block and now it's hot. I'm Tucci, and I'm moving. I'm a savage, yeah. Classy, bougie, ratchet.
Classy, bougie, ratchet. For some reason, I just can't see Kamala Harris going to find the Asian Meg Thee Stallion, the Indian Meg Thee Stallion, and trotting her out there as the representative of her people. For some strange reason, I just can't see Kamala doing that. And so far, the Democrats have had plenty of opportunities to do it, and they ain't did it. For some reason, I just can't see them doing that so far. So far, they haven't done that, but they keep doing this where black people are concerned. And I mean, they put this all the way together. Classy, bougie, ratchet.
Sassy, moody, nasty.
Sassy, mooey, nasty. This heifer is running for president of the United States. She's running for president of the United States. And this was her coming out party. She comes to Atlanta and she thinks this is what needs to be done. And here's my whole point. You take a look around this audience. You take a look at how they're responding. This isn't a showstopper. It sounds like they're piping in the applause too, by the way. Sounds like they're piping in the applause. So when you hear that clapping and stuff, I don't see the audience doing that. I'm thinking that they're piping that in on the recording too.
Our future president.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's not the audience doing that. Their sound looks to me like they're playing that over the speakers. That's not the audience doing that. And that's Meg the Stallion. That's Meg the Stallion. I was about to say Cardi B. Cardi Harris. This was Cardi Harris's idea of dealing with black folk in the black city. This is her idea of doing that. Please tell me any other place on the planet, any other group of people on the planet that she would bring out a similar act, because you got them. I mean, is Iggy Azalea gonna get the call when they go to Iowa? What? I'm just asking y'all, is Iggy Azalea gonna get the call when they go to Iowa? Is Kim Kardashian gonna get the call when they go to California? Is Miley Cyrus gonna get the call when she goes to Florida? I'm just saying, if you're gonna be consistent, if she's going to be consistent, then shouldn't they be getting the call? Shouldn't Iggy Azalea get the call? And I'm just wondering, Katy Perry, are they gonna get the call when she goes to talk to some white folk? Just asking. Well, there's only so much of that nonsense you can take. Then we switch over to another one, and all I can say is, well, they switch over to another one. I'll tell you what I think in a minute. The crowd is on their feet. Can't you see how hyped they are? I've heard churches with more cheering. I've been in libraries that were more festive than this. I'm like, if y'all knew who was coming out next, I don't think you'd be cheering like this. You don't really want the next performances here. Really, just let it go. You really don't want to egg them on.
Please welcome Quavo.
So in an era where we need black manhood, they bring Quavo, but then again, she's been cultivating Quavo for a while now, hasn't she? Damn! You know, we've been following this. She's been cultivating Quavo for a while now. I'm not going to say grooming him, but she's been cultivating Quavo for a minute, hasn't she? I guess now she cashed in those chips. Folks, people, Folks, what is this nigga wearing? What? People, what in the hell is this nigga wearing? Where did he get this outfit from? Marie Claire? What is this? Is Quavo trying to tell us? Oh, those pearls he wearing. Is Quavo trying to tell us something? Did he get this outfit from Zara? I know we in Atlanta, so I'm like, okay, is Quavo trying to tell us something, people? Where the hell did he get this outfit from? What is this? You know what the hell you seeing? What is this? What is this? What are we wearing? What's going on? So all of a sudden we were doing good with Meg Thee Stallion. Oh, y'all thought I was just being mean. We were doing real good with Meg Thee Stallion now. We were doing a whole lot better with her before he came out. He's out here, he's like, oh, wait a minute, can y'all bring Meg on back out here? Oh, I didn't know this was about to happen. Somebody said Sheen. Where he get this outfit? She said Sheen. I'm not making this up. You see it on your screen right now. Well, what is this? Hey, fellas, how many fellas listen to me? Jason, you don't understand. That's the new style.
And deal with it, nigga.
I want to know the fellas who are going to try to tell me, Jason, you just don't understand. That's the style in Atlanta. This is the new style, Jason. I want to see the fellas who gonna say that. I want to see the fellas who gonna check me and correct me with Jason. That's wrong. Y'all old fellas, y'all old dudes just don't get it. I want to know how many fellas gonna line up to go get this. You can put it in the closet right next to your rompims. Damn! Yes, sir. This goes wonderfully over that. Y'all know Rihanna's the stuff she makes for male Fenty. Y'all done seen that stuff for years. Yeah, this wonderfully complements that in your wardrobe. Yes, sir. You can put this right next to your rompims and your male Fenty. All right, I'm trying to find the young fellas who gonna tell me, Jason, you don't understand. This is fly. Okay, that's it. Jason, this style is lit. You don't get it. Y'all old fellas, y'all out of touch. Y'all out of style. I want to know who the fellas are gonna stand up and defend this. Where y'all at? Where are the? Well, Jason, he's a performer. Tell me what kind of performance he about to put on. This fella back here got his damn sunshades on indoors. He can't watch. Fella back here is laughing. This chick grinning. He got his sunshades on. He can't take it. He's like, look here, I know y'all paid me to be here, but somebody might recognize me. Let me put these damn shades on. I am not going to co-sign this bull jive you got going on this stage. I can't do it. I can't. I'm Stevie Wonder. I ain't see nothing. If anybody asks me, I ain't see a damn thing.
Yes. How y'all doing out there? How y'all doing? If y'all don't know me, I go by the name of Quavo.
Oh, we know you. Chris Brown told us all about you. Damn! Yeah, where's Chris Brown when you need him? That's the real issue I got. By the way, where's Chris Brown when you need him? In case y'all don't know, I'm Quavo. Oh, yeah, you the weakest link. Yeah, Chris Brown told us about you. You're the weakest link. Where's Offset? Getting divorced.
Born and raised in the north side of Atlanta, home of the Migos.
Atlanta, north side, hold this L. And by L, I mean lingerie.
Nigga, please.
Alrighty then.
Yes, sir. North side of Atlanta, hold this L. Hold this L. Hold this camisole. Hold this teddy. Hold this nightie. Yes, sir. North side of Atlanta, hold this L. Y'all don't. North side of Atlanta, you gonna let him get away with this? Jason, you doing too much. I'm doing too much. So the problem is me. The problem is not what you see on your screen. That's not the issue. The issue is me. So I'm off code. He all right. There's a problem with me, though. Okay. I'm so glad we got that cleared up. Thank you for helping me get my head right. North side of Atlanta, is this your man? Is this your man? North side of Atlanta, what's going on? What's going on here? Someone explain to me the style cue that I'm missing out on. What is this? Go ahead and get us up to speed on that.
This city.
Okay, I hear people cheering, but I don't see nobody clapping or nothing.
Yes. How y'all doing out there? How y'all doing?
Yeah, y'all see that? So, okay, you hearing people cheering, but I don't see nobody cheering, clapping, or nothing. Come on now, this is fraudulent.
If y'all don't know me, I go by the name of Quavo. Born and raised in the north side of Atlanta, home of the Migos. This city has always been home to me, from playing in the streets and, you know, nurturing me and teaching me how to be the man I am standing before you.
Nigga, please.
Did he just say what I think I heard him just say?
Nurturing me and teaching me how to be the man I am standing before you.
Yeah, that's what I thought he said. So let me get this straight. Atlanta, he's saying that this is the man you nurtured him to be. Oh, you supposed to be holding your hands in front of your face and peeking between your fingers. They've nurtured me into the man I am that you see standing before you today. I'm like, oh, well, at least now we know who to blame. At least now we know who to blame. I mean, he thinks he's standing on this. By the way, you should be rather proud. This city has nurtured me into the man you see standing before you today. Who gave him that speech?
This city has always been home to me, from playing in the streets and, you know, nurturing me and teaching me how to be the man I am standing before you.
Okay, well, at least now we know who to blame. I'm so glad he's confessed to that. So at least that's not a mystery anymore. So if you want to know who to blame for what we see here, north side of Atlanta, we will be sending you our bill.
So, I mean, one of these issues that I care about is resolving the gun.
Okay, one of the issues he's caring about, I thought he was about to say one of the issues he was wanting to resolve was, you know, satin or silk. He wants to settle that debate. There's been a big conflict between satin and silk, and I think we need to settle this and so we can live peacefully. So, all right. Between Paisley and Prince, Prints, not Prince, Prince. But I think we need to settle the war in the streets.
Nurturing me and teaching me how to be the man I am standing before you. So, I mean, one of these issues that I care about is resolving the gun violence issue. And you can't understand the struggles of gun violence if you're not in the field or in the heart of it. So one thing I learned about working with
Kamala Harris is in the heart of gun violence since when? What part of Kamala Harris's life has been in the middle of gun violence, dude? Y'all didn't even think this over before she sent you out here to say this. Come on. Just say you want folks to vote for the woman. Don't sit up here and say crazy stuff like this. The heart of gun violence, is that happening at Doug's house? Has the first 48 been filming on Doug's block in front of the Imhoff home?
And you can't understand the struggles of gun violence if you're not in the field or in the heart of it.
In the chat room, somebody made a point that does this nigga rap about gun violence, by the way? By the way, y'all might want to check your lyrics, but all right.
So one thing I learned about working with Vice President Harris is she always stand on business.
Come here, Kamala. Sidebar, right quick here. Kamala, your campaign and everything. Excuse me just a moment. Yes, I am. You forgive me. I need to take a quick drag. Yeah, sidebar over here. I know that you all have sat down and you're really concerned about her lack of black credentials. That thing's got you real nervous. I mean, super nervous. Because you see that she's vulnerable there. And I know you feel like you gotta bolster her credentials and make it seem like she's got some connection, some genuine. I know that, but can you please stop with the teeny bopper modern day jargon and slang? It just looks crazy being associated with you. She stand on business. It wasn't great when Taraji P. Henson was trying it. It's not going any better with Quavo. Nigga, stop. Give it up. This ain't you. This is not you. This is like watching Hillary Clinton say, give it up for my real ones. This is not you. This just looks weird. This doesn't even look remotely sensible. This just looks weird. Stop it. And you know she's standing on business. Who in her campaign focus tested that phrase? I want to know who the pollster is or the person in her campaign who focus tested that phrase and said, this is the one. Don't worry, Kamala. When they hear this, they'll readily identify with it. This is the one. Who told them this? Of all the phrases you could be choosing to keep using over and over again, who told you this was the one? I mean, ridiculous on top of ridiculous, and I guess if you're going to be dressed the part, you might as well talk the part too. So at least Quavo is being consistent.
And you can't understand the struggles of gun violence if you're not in the field or in the heart of it. So one thing I learned about working with Vice President Harris is she always stand on business. From inviting me, what's up, mama? From inviting me.
Really? He couldn't stay focused long enough?
From inviting me, what's up, mama? From inviting me to the White House last year to discuss these solutions to passing the biggest, from inviting me, what's up, mama? From inviting me to the.
All right, I don't know who mama is, but I wanted to see. I don't know why it keeps freezing up on me there, but yeah, I don't know who mama is. But by the way, he wanted to take a moment there to acknowledge the females.
The White House last year to discuss these solutions to passing the biggest gun safety laws to date.
Atlanta, do you feel safer as a result of the, quote, biggest gun laws to date? By the way, which one of those laws got passed, sir? I missed it.
So it's only right in the birthplace of the culture. It's also the same place to launch the first African-American woman to run for president.
The birthplace of the culture. What is he referring to, folks? I'm not sure what he means by that. The birthplace of the culture. I'm just curious, what is he referring to? Or are people just saying stuff?
Yeah, we changing the culture again. So if you never voted before, make sure you get out and vote right now, because it's the real one.
First of all, folks, do y'all see what he's wearing up here? Do you see this? Okay, first of all, who is okay? So Jason probably just didn't have enough style to appreciate this. Okay, but second of all, she the real one. Really? She stand on business. She the real one. What the hell is this? An ABC after school special? Do one of the writers of those people put this together?
And in the words of my brother Takeoff, voted before. Make sure you get out and vote right now, because it's the real one.
This sounds like some white folk from ABC school after school specials wrote this dialogue. This isn't just cringe. This is absolutely mortifying. I mean, we're talking about these folks wrote a whole speech for him now. They wrote a whole speech for him.
And in the words of my brother Takeoff, let me get a Kamala. I'm going to hand it over to Tyler the Green. Let him talk about his vote and introduce the next president of the United States of America. Yes, sir.
Atlanta, you got to hold this. So for those of you who didn't see the event when it went down, by the way, this was supposed to motivate you to get out there and whatnot. This is how we coming out. And I went through all that. I'm not even going to play Kamala Harris as part of it, though you can probably imagine that, you know, if cringe were running for office.
I walked underground tunnels between the United States and Mexico on that border with law enforcement officers. I went after transnational gangs, drug cartels, and human traffickers.
You didn't go after a damn thing. In any case, so this was Kamala Harris introducing herself and whatnot. And what it shows, and this is me being objective, what it shows is she's very worried. Kamala Harris is very worried, and she's very scared, and she very much should be. Because what she's showing is that she realizes she's got deficits. She realizes she's got deficits and she got problems. She recognizes that. Show you here, case in point, on my Twitter page. Let me tell y'all, this is like, you know me, I don't really go around fighting to get very much attention, but one of my latest posts on Twitter, as you can see, has gotten quite a lot of attention. And I just said she has no personal connection to her Jamaican father or Jamaica itself. All of her historical life stories are about her Indian family. She married a white man. Other than attending Howard University, what part of her life was or is part of black society? Stop the cap. And let me tell you, the trolls in the comments section, oh, they showed up hard and heavy. And what that tells you is that that's a concerted, conscious effort, that their job is to go around and try to shout down or swarm anybody who brings up Kamala Harris's identity as a phony narrative. They're letting you know this is a weak point. They see it as a weak point. They don't have an answer. They don't know how to fix it. So their real strategy is just go shout down anybody else that they can. But they see it for what it is. They recognize it for the weak spot that it is. And that's why Kamala is out here. And let me go ahead and give you the 720 degrees of analysis that you'll receive absolutely nowhere else. Kamala Harris right now is in the middle of a wonderful honeymoon period. She's in the middle of a wonderful honeymoon period. At least the first couple of weeks, that's the way that goes. But you got 3 months. You got to ride strong. And that's plenty of time for people to get to know you a little bit better and to remind them of the things they don't like. And I'm letting you all know that Kamala is being very, very protective of herself. She is being extremely protective of herself. And it reminds me of Joe Biden. You see, y'all remember when Joe Biden was getting weak, what's the first thing they did? No interviews. No interviews, no press conferences, no questions. They just had Kamala and Joe Biden sitting up here stumbling over each other's words when they released those hostages from Russia. But she's not doing interviews, people. She's taking up where Biden left off at. And so she's basically just focusing on, oh, let's have a good time party. Let's have a good time party of feelings. But she's making it a point not to actually say or do anything. Just sit here and say, hey, is everybody happy? Vote for me. Everybody happy. Everybody having a good time. And that's it. That's all. And she realized what you're doing is just showing everybody that you realize that's an issue. You realize that that's a problem. You realize that you are already in trouble, and that's going to be an issue. Well, Jason, are you sure about this? I mean, you don't even like Kamala Harris like that, so you're just going to make things up and you're just going to say those kind of things. But it just gives you an idea. There was something in particular on CNN that came out a week ago. On CNN a week ago, and I want you all to take a look at this real quick. I have to say fair use, but in any case, CNN had a piece they did 7 days ago here. And I want you to listen to what they said. Now, first of all, take a look at the title of their video. Harris lays out her vision leading up to Election Day. Okay. Harris lays out her vision leading up to Election Day. Now, that sounds very straightforward, doesn't it? CNN, the global leader in news. Harris lays out her vision leading up to Election Day. All right. Well, folks, okay, I can be fair and objective about this. Let's hear what Kamala Harris's vision is leading up to Election Day, because surely you're going to tell us about what her vision is.
A new window into Kamala Harris's fast-track presidential campaign. The vice president speaking on a call with donors just a short time ago. CNN's MJ Lee has details from the White House. What are you learning about this call, MJ?
Yeah, the vice president called into a meeting of her National Finance Committee this afternoon where she thanked some of the top donors to the party for their support. I spoke with one donor who was on that call, and they said that the call was really about the vice president and top campaign officials sort of laying out their vision for the 100-plus days that are now left until Election Day. They made clear that when it comes to the vice president's calendar, of course, a key priority is going to be the vice president traveling to these key battleground states. They also made clear that they are quickly reshuffling her schedule and the events on her calendar, given her new role that is now just 5 days old.
What? Did anybody hear a vision in there? She lays out her vision leading up to Election Day. What was the vision? By the way, in the chat room there, Kamas Love, we're going to have Kamas Love give us a phone call here in a little bit. So, Kamas Love, you just hang in there. We're going to have you give us a phone call here in a little bit so you can ask your questions directly. Did anybody hear a vision of anything? She got on a call with her donors to tell them about the next 100 days heading into the election and didn't say nothing. Where's the vision? Vision of what?
I'm ready. Let's go.
We're going to have some fun with this, too, aren't we?
We are not playing around.
I'm waiting to hear the vision here. CNN is trying to be her press secretary and her publicist, but I'm waiting to hear the vision.
A whirlwind 5 days for Kamala Harris, who is swiftly marching towards the Democratic nomination for president. Since President Joe Biden's decision to drop out of the 2024 race, Harris working at breakneck speed to raise a stunning amount of cash, lock in major Democratic endorsements like this one on Friday.
We called to say Michelle and I couldn't be prouder.
Okay, now, by the way, for some of the ADHD crack pipe babies out there who were trying to question me over the last couple of weeks, trying to question the accuracy here. By the way, they're going to get real quiet. They got quiet last week. They're going to get super quiet now. Remember, I told you all that Barack Obama was withholding his endorsement from her because he wanted something. And he wasn't going to, unlike what they tell black people, they just tell black folks, shut up and vote. But when it was time for Barack Obama, he didn't just shut up and support her. He said, I ain't going to support you unless you give me something. Well, now we have some insight into what exactly it is that Barack Obama was given by Kamala Harris in order for him to support her campaign. Guess who let me go see if I can find this for you all real quick. Let me go ahead and see if I can find that for you all real quick because I want to show it to you. I want to show it to you so you all can see that. And because when I say these things right here, I ain't sitting up here just making things up. I'm not just making things up here. Let me go ahead and throw that up here right quick. From Politico. From Politico. Now, this is dated as of yesterday. Go ahead and show you from Politico. Well, looky here. Well, Politico magazine says Playbook PM. Pluff joins the Harris campaign. Damn! Well, you all remember David Pluff, don't you? David Pluff was Barack Obama's 2008 campaign manager. He was the guy that everyone credits with being in charge of Barack Obama's campaign and getting him elected. Everybody talks about David Axelrod, but the campaign manager was actually this guy, David Pluff. He was the actual campaign manager, not David Axelrod. This guy, who doesn't show up very often, by the way. He doesn't make very many public appearances. He'll show up on the Sunday show every once in a blue moon, but David Pluff has been real low-key since the Obamas left office. What that also means is the money ain't coming like it used to since Obama left office. So what do you know? Now I'm going to read this next part right here. It says, by Notice Jasmine, right? In conversations with more than a dozen Democrats, some describe tension and lingering resentment between Joe Biden and Harris loyalists. But with a compressed timeline, the camps are trying to press on. Here's the issue. That's not the problem. The problem is, remember what I told you all. Joe Biden wanted to put together his own political machine. If Kamala Harris makes it to the White House, she will be Joe Biden's girl, not Barack Obama's. So Barack Obama withheld his endorsement until he could get his man on the inside of her campaign. So the price for getting Obama's support and endorsement is you got to put the Obama political machine in charge of your campaign. Which was exactly what I told you all was coming here. That he was holding out because he wanted something. He wanted something. And he wasn't going to give it up. So now he's put David Pluff in there. That's it. It's time to elbow Joe Biden out the picture altogether. So if Kamala does get elected president, she's going to be part of the Obama political machine now. If Pluff is there, Obama is there. So now they've co-opted her. Joe Biden about to be all the way out. And the Obama political machine is going to take over. We'll take it from here, kid. We'll take it from here. So for some of the folks who are questioning me and whatnot, by the way, real quiet. I said Obama wants something, and we're going to find out what it is. There it is. With Joe Biden, what they did to get him out of the race, I'm like, we may never know what it was, although we are getting some details about that now. For those of you who hadn't heard about it, we are getting some details that there are reports that Obama threatened Joe Biden. Jason threatened him how? He threatened to 25th Amendment him. So Nancy Pelosi said, we can do this the easy way or the hard way, but there are reports coming out that when Biden spoke to Obama, Obama threatened 25th Amendment. And now that you see David Plouffe is getting booed up with Kamala Harris, it's like, oh, bruh, that's it. They was getting ready to go in on you. I mean, they were getting ready to launch a coup here. They were getting ready to do that. So it'll probably be a while before we get confirmation of that kind of thing. That wasn't going on in June. Wasn't going on in early July, but apparently behind the scenes, it's like, okay, 25th Amendment, Joe Biden will not be able to choose to leave at that point. If Obama gets together with Harris and says, look, we gonna make you president, we gotta knock off Joe. Don't you know she gonna go straight for it? So, yeah. No, Joe Biden didn't get to choose any of that. He was about to wake up one morning and they were going to 25th Amendment him, which, by the way, I don't think you could get that done in time for the election. I don't believe that would have happened. I think that they would have started floating the idea and leaking it to the news, and that would have hurt Joe Biden's credibility to the point that basically their whole goal was to weaken him enough that he couldn't go on as a candidate. He could stay in the race, but basically you've already torpedoed his campaign. So what I suspect is they did that. They gave him a bag. They're going to get him some bull jive ass position for him and his no good son somewhere. And it's like, okay, and we can avoid having the 25th Amendment and let's get somebody else up in here and see what happens. And now David Plouffe and the Obama political machine are officially in the middle of running the Kamala Harris campaign. Look to that guy Shapiro, the governor of Pennsylvania. Look to him. Looking for a running mate. Obama was always about that East Coast. He sees her as another troubled mulatto. He's going to be looking at what his campaign did correctly, and he's basically going to just want to replicate that because that's what he knows. So look for them, for the Obama machine, now that they're in charge. Look for them to go find another white male from the East Coast. Look for them to go for another white male from the East Coast, somewhere north of Virginia. Look for them to go for that. That's right now. That looks, Barack Obama is going to look to replicate the strategy he used in his campaign. You're seeing that this week on Kamala Harris. You see that as kind of a roundabout way of going at Trump's stomping grounds to make Trump weak in areas that he needs. So look for that to happen. Look for something like that to happen. Right now, in my mind, Shapiro would be the front runner. I don't see anybody you could replace him with. And I don't think that they want to gamble on grabbing somebody who's an unknown. I don't think they want to do a J.D. Vance and go grab somebody that nobody knows anything about. They're going to want to go for somebody who's popular where they are, who knows how to navigate among them white men like that. So I'm not going to guarantee Shapiro, but what I am going to say is that, that's the kind of guy you're looking for. Square-jawed, dark-haired, white male, clearly heterosexual, at least you suspect he could be. So look for an archetype like Shapiro. That's the direction it's going to go in right there. They're not going to go for the South. I can't imagine. They're not going to go for the West. You're looking for somebody on that East Coast. You're looking for that area where she's weak at, where you think that they're ideologically more aligned with you, because the South ain't going to make it. They're not going to go with you. So you're looking for somebody to shore you up in that area. So you get the West Coast and you get the East Coast, and then you can go fight it out for the middle of the country. You can go fight it out for the middle of the country. There are folks who are sitting up here and whatnot, and just telling you, they are very, very worried because they are worried about what's going to happen. They are worried about what's going to happen if Kamala Harris is allowed to speak. At some point, Kamala got to start talking. At some point, she has to take some positions. Right now, she's trying to be as popular as she can. She's trying to make it through this convention, but she's going to want some attention. At some point, she's going to have to start speaking. She's going to have to start speaking, and when she does, when she starts speaking and taking some positions, that's when I suspect, my prediction is that's when her fortunes are going to change. Right now, she's not taking any positions. She's just saying, yay, hey, I'm replacing Joe Biden. When she starts giving out some policy positions and reminding people about why they're shaky on her and doubtful and some of the crazy stuff, when that happens, and I predict that will happen within the next 30 calendar days, when that happens, look for those numbers to start going soft again. She's riding high right now, but look for those numbers to start going soft again. That's my prediction. Now, the only thing that will help Kamala Harris, and so far it's actually been happening, is if Trump continues acting like Trump and just doing stupid things. J.D. Vance was a stupid choice. It was egotistical and narcissistic, but it was also stupid. He doesn't bring you anything. J.D. Vance isn't popular in Pennsylvania, the swing states you need. J.D. Vance ain't got no stroke there. J.D. Vance doesn't have any pull in those places. So the places where Trump is weak, J.D. Vance doesn't shore anything up. So if Trump keeps doing that, yeah, the election's over. And Kamala Harris will squeak through, not because she's great, but because Trump and so many unforced errors. J.D. Vance has shown that he can articulate policy positions, but they were expecting that J.D. Vance would be debating Kamala Harris. That's not going to happen. They're going to have him debating somebody else, and Donald Trump can't go out there and really throw a whole bunch of zingers and whatnot at Kamala Harris. That's not going to work. It just makes you look like an ass. You're going to have to stick to the points, which I don't have a lot of confidence he can do. So that's what you have going on right now. The Democrats are saying, look here, as far as the black vote is concerned, we've got the program director for BET who is going to go ahead and see about our black voter outreach, and that's what it's going to be. So basically, I guess there's room for David Plouffe to be the campaign manager, because apparently before now, Nicki Minaj was the campaign manager of Kamala Harris's campaign. Apparently, we got Meg Thee Stallion sitting up there. Very clearly, one of the managers at Magic City in Atlanta was obviously in charge of her campaign outreach. So from here, that's what we have. But my whole thing is she's going for star power because Kamala Harris is unsexy. She's not personable. They're trying to surround her with cool kids. They're trying to surround her with popular, cool kids because she's not. She's awkward. They understand this. When she talks, she gets more awkward. She doesn't have a connection to black folks, so they're surrounding her with cool kids who they think do connect to black folk, even though from this rally it's very clear they ain't working. And they're showing it, by the way, this is the only thing we got. Well, Jason, will it work? Right now, the odds are against them. Why do you say that, Jason? Because this ain't 2008.
And deal with it, nigga.
Oh, yeah, one more thing. David Plouffe and the rest of y'all. This ain't 2008, fella. This is 16 years later. This ain't 2008. Well, 17 years later. This ain't 2008. It's not going to work for you. Not going to work for you. When you all started making this run in 2007, no, this ain't the same decade. This ain't the same time frame it was. It's a new day out here. Some of the stuff you used to be able to do and get away with back when the new black media was much smaller, some of the things you could get away with back when our narrative was much smaller and the civil rights generation held far more sway, we are going to remind you of the sins of your past, David. If you think you're just going to rerun the Obama campaign and you expected the civil rights generation strategy that worked so well before that you can call Roland Martin and that work, you better take a look at this damn crowd out here of these octogenarians who ain't damn well moving except when they're nervousness. Oh, this woman back here, what is going on? Hold on, let me back it up right quick there. Oh, I'm surprised she ain't shaking the bleachers apart. It's like, okay, this is their voter base back here. This is the voter base. It's not what it was before, dude. Some of these antics that went over so well, patting black folk on the head and pandering to them, and, oh, we acknowledge your existence. Some of that stuff that worked in 2008 and 2012, you're in for a brutal wake-up call in 2024. You are in for a brutal wake-up call. It's been 17 years since you started his campaign, 16 years since 2008. It's going to be a brutal wake-up call for you this time, that it's a new day, and the stuff that y'all got away with back then, you're going to find that there's not nearly as receptive an audience for it this time. The tactics that worked then, you're going to find that the people are not going to be nearly as agreeable as they were before. What I'm telling you, David, is that this time with your candidate, people are not going to be afraid to challenge her. You will not be able to convince them that this is the end of the world. There isn't a war in Iraq that is overriding everything else. There are a whole new slate of issues that have risen to the front, and you're out of touch, I suspect, David. The very fact that you all allowed her to go out there and do this damn thing with Meg Thee Stallion, ain't nobody driving the damn car. Who the hell in their right minds to be running this campaign and would organize these type of appearances? Very clearly, that ain't happening. So you're going to march on out there, David, and what you're going to find out is it's a new day. It's a whole different thing, and it's a brand new day. And I'm not saying that Kamala's going to lose. What I am going to say is it will not be nearly as cut and dry and easy as it was for you in 2008. There are a whole different group of questions that people were afraid of asking and queasy about asking and nervous to ask back in 2008. David, nobody is eager for a repeat of the Obama years. People do not remember the Obama years fondly. You're just doing that because of the campaign's base, but the party base will go over that. But there, you are not going to be able to run that Barack Obama thing. People don't have the fond memories of him that you wish they did. Folks are not nearly as eager and geeked up about that as you wish they were. You're not going to be able to go out there and have Kamala Harris dance the Dougie. She better not, if you plan on winning any damn thing there, by the way. You're not going to be able to do that this time. Nobody wants the second coming of Michelle Obama. And Kamala Harris, unlike Barack Obama, Kamala Harris doesn't even have a black beard. Damn! All Kamala Harris got is Doug. Had Doug in there somewhere. All she got is Doug, damn it. That's all she got is Doug. She doesn't even have a Michelle Obama she can use. All you got is this dude, who is a net negative. No wonder they sent David Plouffe. They're like, man, can you save this damn clown car? Because she doesn't have any of the advantages that Obama did. None. Oh, it's going to be a whole new ball game this time around. It's going to be a whole different thing this time around, because right now you all are protecting her, but eventually, David, she going to have to come out and speak. She's going to have to come out and talk. She's going to have to come out and take these positions and admit exactly what she really thinks. At some point, she's going to have to do that. And when she does, that's when the rubber's going to meet the road. However, you might disagree. Therefore, we're going to see about opening up the telephone lines here in a few moments. The number is 646-787-1933. 646-787-1933. Just a brief reminder to everyone. I'm looking at phasing out using Blog Talk. It's been a fun ride, but the service has become completely unusable in recent months. Ever since the beginning of 2024, this Blog Talk has just been so hit or miss that I don't feel like I can rely on it anymore. And that's perfectly fine. So just letting you all have a heads up. I'm looking at going ahead and phasing that out and just switching over to Zoom for taking our calls on it. But in the meantime here, may see about going ahead and do that. As a matter of fact, let me go ahead and get that open for you. We're going to take a very brief commercial, non-commercial break. Before we do here, I want to thank everyone who has contributed to tonight's program on PayPal, Super Chat, Venmo. Thank you all very much for your support here to Brenda, Mark B, Sandra, Jean, and everyone else here who's contributed to tonight's program. Thank you very much as well to My Names and Pamela Greer. Thank you very much as well. Cyberdyne 100, Nancy King. We're going to take a very brief commercial, non-commercial break. When we come back, we'll be dealing with this and more. This is The Black Channel.
Hi, I'm Mr. B, and I welcome you to visit my website, MrBTheTeacher.com. Explore our site for my latest book, my blog, and podcast that are packed with insightful articles, tips, and strategies to help students navigate the educational journey. Need more help? Check out my education consulting and tutoring services for engaging lessons, downloadable resources, and personalized learning plans. Please join us at MrBeTheTeacher.com today. Thank you all for listening.
A white supremacist assassin seeks revenge. Corrupt FBI agents with evil intentions. Dangerous black collaborators dedicated to treason. Occam Jeffers must defeat them all and somehow survive. One misstep and he's a dead man. Join Occam Jeffers as he looks the devil in his blue eyes and tells him, Black First. A sequel to the underground hit War of the Heart, Spirit of 1811 Publishing presents God Love Us, on sale at Amazon. Pre-order and save today. Visit spiritOf1811publishing.com and show your love.
Order yours today to experience all the benefits of Ash Kickin' Body Butter. With skin so smooth and soft, you'll thank us for it. Shop Ash Kickin' online. That's ASHKICKIN.com.
Hi, this is Brenda Starr, creator of Poetry with a Purpose and author of the book Pressed But Not Crushed. Pressed But Not Crushed is an anthology of political poems that address current and historical issues in American descendants of slave population and African American population. The book describes slaveries and its residuals, Jim Crow segregation, social depredation, and other relevant issues to American descendants of slaves and African Americans, including the current political climate that does not address our issues.
This is The Black Channel. I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, the Black Authority. Very glad to be with you all here this evening, and the telephone lines are now open. The number is 646-787-1933. That's 646-787-1933. Your personal access code to the blackest radio program in existence, the only one of its kind on planet Earth or the cosmos today. Of course, as always, you're welcome to join us. We're talking today about hope politics. Kamala Harris, she's had her rally in Atlanta, and she went straight for the jugular or for the G-string, and she went straight to hope politics. She brought out Meg Thee Stallion. They was twerking and jerking. They brought out Quavo. I mean, they went straight to BET After Dark, and I want to find out, do you think it'll work? Who is the constituency that they're trying to appeal to with this stuff? Because the audience wasn't hyped. That's for damn certain. I got evidence of that the audience wasn't hyped. It wasn't a crowd pleaser. They weren't on their feet. For the few of them folk out there whose BMI was low enough to allow them to get on their feet. And so, who do you think this was for? Who do you think this was appealing for? Do you all think that the Democrats coming back yet again to appeal to hoe politics? Do you think it's actually gonna work this time? Do you think she's going to get more votes? Do you think appealing to the thought constituency is a winner? You have your opportunity to go ahead and weigh in on that. Let's go ahead and get caller from area code 424. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
What's up, Jason? This is Rashad from Los Angeles.
All right, Rashad from Los Angeles. What's on your mind?
Yeah, unfortunately, I think that it is going to work for some of her constituency because a lot of women, they actually sit up and they identify with Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris has a bit of that in her. You know, she did, not to the extent of a Meg the Stallion or some of these other women, but she got the prominence by doing Meg the Stallion-ish type antics. And they identify with Kamala Harris.
I mean, look, let's just say it like it is. And I ain't hoe-hating. It's not anything like that, but I got to say it like it is. Kamala Harris may be the first woman in history to hustle them draws all the way to the White House. What? Damn! I mean, she might pull it off. So the real thing is, and by the way, is how offensive is that? Or should I say, how much does that resonate? Because it's one thing to say that she's doing it. It's another thing to say that actually inspires other females like, yay, I want to be like Kamala. So I don't know. Obviously, it'll appeal to some people, but do you think it's going to appeal to enough so she can get to the White House?
It's really hard to tell. I mean, I know, like you talked about before, you having a bunch of trolls and a bunch of these Democratic shills bombarding your social media feed. I've been having the same problem. You know, because I've been commenting on this on Facebook, and I got these individuals, same thing as last election, showing up all of a sudden, trying to discredit me, talking to brothers like yourself and me, and calling us racist and sexist for calling this stuff out. And there was one guy particularly was saying, well, over at the Republican convention, they had Hulk Hogan, they also had Kid Rock, and which is understandable for their white supremacist, far right constituency. But my question to him was that if that's the case, then are you trying to say that the people that support Kamala Harris and Democrats, that they are aligned with thought culture? Is that what you're trying to say? Because I know that a lot of black women were offended by this for the fact that every single time the Democrats show up, they pander. They appeal to the lowest common denominator. They put women, like her up there to represent black women and black society as a group. And there's plenty of black women who don't identify with that, who don't want us being portrayed as thoughts to the whole entire world.
Well, I mean, the thing is that
a lot of folks
when she goes in front of the AAPI community and the AAPI conventions, she doesn't sit up here and go try to find the Asian Cardi B or the Asian Meg Thee Stallion. I don't think any of them are going to be opening any of her campaign rallies for her. So the real thing is they're setting us aside for basically particular contempt and ridicule. And I submit to you that that's not for us. I want to introduce to you all a new concept here tonight that in some ways, it is possible that they don't do this for us, but that they do this because this is meant to signify to their white, rich donors that they've got their finger on these are a bunch of old white men, and that seeing these kind of antics to these old white men, these caricatures to them register as having your finger on the pulse of black society, and you're speaking to the young folk there that this is what they want to see, and that this is something that really resonates with them, not so much with us. Thank you very much for giving us a call here tonight. I would suggest you all think about that for a few moments. The George Clooney sect and the George Soros sect, that this is what they think of black people, the money men that she is leaning on so heavy to get that cash. The money men, this is the kind of thing that emboldens them and reassures them that you are in a good place with black society. This is the kind of thing that encourages them and gives them confidence when they see this, because this is what the money men think of us, and this is the kind of thing that they're really boosting out this. See, we got Quavo and Meg Thee Stallion and Beyonce, and we're really resonating. Think about that for a few moments, folks, that some of these antics are not actually meant for us, that this is window dressing and theater for the rich white men who she's trying to get the money from, that this is the kind of thing that encourages them. Call from Miracle 412. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
My name is Renee. Jason, how are you? I'm calling from Baltimore, Maryland. How are you today?
All right, Renee from Baltimore. What's on your mind?
Well, on behalf of the hoes, we ain't voting for Kamala. We got a committee for hoes ain't voting for Kamala.
Auntie, chill. All right, she said on behalf of the hoes. I'm like, hey, baby, rep your set. I am not mad at you at all. Rep your set. Hoes, side chicks, jump offs, form a pack. Y'all get together, get your pennies together.
Ain't voting. Exactly. With form a pack, we ain't down with her. We ain't down with her.
Hey, look, I'll vote for it. Look, I'll vote for an honest hoe. Now, y'all want me like, I'll vote for an honest hoe. I'm not gonna vote for a dishonest one. Kamala, you bogus. An honest hoe. That's change I can believe in.
Well, anyway, thanks for taking my call. But I wanted to let you know, I was on a Wednesday call, not voting, my friend of mine who is all in Kamala. I was on the call and I was listening. And Jason, I wanted to give you some advice to everybody. They are coming after us. They were saying that they're not going for the low denominator of women. They're pushing through to try to get the women who are in the middle, who's not going to vote for Kamala. They have not fully committed. They got a powerhouse behind us, the sororities and the fraternities with white money. I was just hearing everything. They were saying where they're trying to gear to and who they trying to get. And I was sitting back just listening to this phone call, just listening. Like these women, these black women for these AKs, I don't know who put this battery in their back, but I'm just not feeling them at all. They're trying to get people out to vote. What they're going to be trying to do in the next coming days, through the 90 days, watch y'all channels. I'm just saying, everybody watch your channels.
Well, you know,
call her hoe, prostitute.
Let me ask about that.
Try to strike your channels.
I want to remind you all of something here. When folks talk about these sororities and stuff, and all I can say is, people write articles and they say things. As far as the sorority support is concerned, I'm just wondering, is this the same super motivated sorority army that they told us all about back in 2020 when she ran the first time? Damn! Nigga, please!
Exactly.
I'm wondering if this is the same one, or is this a different black sorority army? Is this a different one? Or is this the same one and she couldn't even get out of the starting gate 4 years ago?
Right.
You know, I got a sneaking suspicion that this is the same group. So forgive me if I'm not shaking in my boots or worried. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Yeah, she said on behalf of the hoes. All right, girl, just be honest about it. Well, she said, I'm on the phone with Jason. I ain't gonna bulljive him. I ain't mad at you. Caller from area code 469. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
It's Thomas calling from Dallas, Texas.
All right, Thomas from Dallas. What's on your mind?
Jason, this ain't it. If she thought this was it, this wasn't a campaign. This was a strip-a-thon. I mean, she should have just put up a number, a 1-800 number, and said this is a strip-a-thon. That's all it was. And I mean, this was an insult to any black person, black woman or black man that and don't get me wrong, I'm not even blaming Megan because she's out there to get a check. So get the check. But my God, man, I mean, out of all the celebrities, out of all the entertainers you could have brought out Stevie Wonder, you could have brought out some legitimate artists, but you're gonna bring someone out that's gonna twerk in front of everybody. It's a strip-a-thon. That's all it is. I mean, and she missed one person. She could have brought out Medea. If you're in Atlanta, you could have brought Medea out. Then you're gonna bring out Quavo on gun violence.
Quavo was doing his best Medea. As far as I can tell, Quavo was doing his best Medea impersonation. He sure had the outfit, so Quavo was doing his best impersonation.
Leather pants and a blouse.
He was damn near there. He was damn near there. So yeah, in the case of Quavo, he was damn near there. So all I was saying was, where the hell is Chris Brown when we need him? Where Chris Brown is doing his damn meet and greets. Chris, we need you in Atlanta for a minute. Quavo was wilding out.
But what you said earlier about this wasn't for black people, like you said, this was for those donors, man, to make them think that they got the black people in their hand, man. It's a wrap, man, because online it was the young black women that were saying no, hell no. They was like, this ain't it. They was, all the women were saying, yeah, we like Meg Thee Stallion, but this was an insult to our intelligence, man. These were young black women. I mean, like you said, I mean, the new black media has already put everything on forefront to let everybody know what's going on. And I mean, and her crowd wasn't even large. I mean, Tariq Nasheed had a bigger reparations crowd than she did. I mean, y'all bring out bigger crowds than she do. I mean, it's insane. Anybody who votes for this, man, you gotta be halfway dumb or stupid or both. This is crazy, Jason, man. I don't.
Look, what it does is it shows you all it's the same playbook. Everybody asked me after Biden and Harris got elected the first time, Jason, do you think they're going to change? No, I've told y'all for years, since Hillary Clinton, the playbook is not going to change until it reaches this disastrous sour stage where they just have no choice but it to change. But no, they're running the same playbook. Pimps and hoes and all this, Bill Clinton playing the saxophone and all that and dancing the Dougie. Same playbook. Only now they've chosen the worst candidate. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Let me get caller Miracle 323. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, good evening, Big Brother Jason. This is Brother Elijah calling out of Brooklyn, New York.
All right, Brother Elijah, the Brooklyn, what's on your mind?
Hey, Big Brother, I got to ask you this question. After looking at, before I go any further, thank you for tonight's broadcast. This is on the money. I'm gonna stay on topic. I want to put reparations to the side for a second, what we're really fighting for. I want to put that to the side, even though you didn't mention it tonight. I want to ask this question. After looking at this and everything like that, Meg Thee Stallion is 29 years old. Kamala Harris is at best 59, going to be 60. I remember back in 2016, not even Hillary Clinton did something like this. She had Jay-Z and Beyonce, that's fine. But it didn't go this low. And I wanted to ask this question, all right, white supremacy to the side. Do you think that a lot of these people, a lot of the politicians do not grant us what we want because a lot of us act like young, immature, goofy adults?
Well, here's the thing, okay? You got to understand how politics works, okay? Politicians listen to three groups of people. Number one, they listen to money donors because you can't fuel a campaign without financing. So they listen to them. Number two, they listen to media people to an extent because those people don't have to get elected and they can influence things on both sides without that. Last is they listen to organized constituencies. So they don't really try to chase constituencies as individuals, people who are single issue voters or whatnot. They try to get constituencies who have some sort of group goal or group agenda. So that's what they tend to go for. I explained all that to say, so where does all the twerking and jerking and these clowns here come from? And what I'm saying is that when these people are grooming folks, you know, they don't just listen to anybody. They want to listen to people who can get folks together, people who can organize rallies, people who can organize donors. Those are the people that they listen to. They'll come and shake your hand at a rally or an event or something, but they're not listening to you. So please understand, the Simone Sanders, that's why I showed you all the pictures of Simone Sanders with Bill Clinton back when she was a teenager. They've had their eye on her for decades. She is a known quantity. They're not worried about her. So you see, when she speaks, they're more prone to they're very, very prone to listen in that regard because she's one of their Negroes. Now, is that a flaw? To an extent, it very much is. Does it put them out of touch with the electorate? Absolutely, it does. But those are the only people that they feel safe to listen to, because when Simone Sanders speaks, Simone Sanders is not going to tell them that they're wrong. She's going to try to figure out a way to tell them how to get what they want. But she's not going to tell them that you're wrong and you can't get that from here. Same thing with Roland Martin. Roland Martin doesn't tell them that they're wrong. He just tells them they need to give him more money. But he doesn't tell them that their goals are wrong. So please understand, those are the folks they want to listen to. The other thing is those people are non-threatening. Folks shaking their asses and honing it up and whatnot, they're not a threat. So that's another thing that's pleasing to these Democrat politicians and policymakers. It's pleasing to have a Negro who's not a threat. They don't give a damn how intelligent you are. They don't give a damn how smart you are, how savvy you are, how insightful you are, how correct you are. If you're a threat, they're not listening to you. Until you gain the ability to take the food off their plate and they start starving and can't eat, it is not in their interest to listen. Didn't say nothing about you being right. It's not in their interest to listen to you, even though you may be correct.
Yes, sir.
So does it make more sense now?
Yes, sir. I have another question. Just last week, you did a great piece on what I mean by you always do a great piece. I don't mean it like that. But I'm talking about, you brought out some good points about there's a chance Kamala Harris could win. Here's the problem. Maybe, for my education, with this stunt she just pulled, and then plus you mentioning she refuses to do a media interview and everything like that.
For now.
Don't you think this in a way? Okay. Don't you think this in a way sunk her campaign, because it's going to be hard for the general? Oh, really?
No. Certainly, remember, you don't lose campaigns simply because of one incident. You lose campaigns because of a drumbeat. This is not going to necessarily have a drumbeat, but what it does do is, what this does in my focus and in my position and responsibility as the anchorman of the new black media, it's my job to identify these things. So it's my duty to inform you all that, by the way, they're back doing it again. So when I see these familiar things happen, it's my job to point out to you all, hey, they're doing it again. This is going to be the strategy going forward. They haven't changed. They're doing it again. And so hopefully I can go ahead and connect enough of the dots in an accurate way that when you all do start asking questions, it starts making more sense that this is what they're doing. So that when you start seeing her avoiding cameras and things, just understand they're trying to get as much money behind her as they can before inevitably she has to go out and face the cameras and speak, and then the bloom starts coming off the rose. And I spoke about this last week, I think also. The bloom is going to come off the rose just as soon as she starts talking. So that's why everything she's doing right now is scripted and organized. That's why she's doing that. Okay, he's got some happy little old ladies back there with him. Thank you very much for giving us a call. Let me get called from area code 318. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Jason, this is Feel Good calling out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. What's happening, bro?
All right, Feel Good out of Milwaukee. What's on your mind?
Man, look, you called it again. as of within a minute of you coming on the air today, there was a leaked campaign video out of the Harris camp. Surprise. And guess who she has picked for a running mate?
Well,
Shapiro. Shapiro, I'm not going to even let you. You already knew.
Okay, but here's my thing. I understand about that. I really do.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to let you all know that until they officially announce it, just stash that in your back pocket until they officially announce it. So I understand.
You think they spinning it?
Dude, they just yanked the damn nomination away from Joe Biden. Brother, they just yanked the damn nomination from Joe Biden. He won the delegates and said, let me get them back. So,
right.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean,
Okay.
so that's what I'm saying. Right now, just understand, because like there's some issues about Shapiro. There's some issues going on there. So not really sure. Like I say, if sexual harassment and all this stuff, we're not really, I'm just saying,
Yeah, I heard
obviously,
about that.
in my opinion, basically he's probably the best candidate specifically for where he is. And he's not going to be a threat. He lines up perfectly with her husband. The Obamas obviously got their hands up his back, working his mouth like a puppet. So, in my opinion, sure, on paper and everything else, certainly that would work. But what I'm saying is there's a reason why you haven't heard them say anything yet. There's a reason why you didn't see Obama. Everybody talking about, she's going to support, Obama's going to support her. Actually, then you saw what happened. It's like, well, it took him damn near a week to say anything. And with folks saying, he's going to, I'm like, not necessarily. If she don't play ball, that's not really the way that works. So with that being the case, I do understand there's some scuttlebutt. I get it. Oh, Jason, there's been some leaks. I get it. I would just advise you all. I understand. But in these times, because like right now, there are folks talking about Trump may dump Vance.
I heard that. I did hear that.
If J.D. Vance continues to be a problem, just understand we just pulled Joe Biden. Brother, all bets are off at this point. When Biden got pulled, anything can happen at this point. Anything. So I don't suspect any huge differences there, but what I'm saying is I'll believe it when I see it.
Okay, look, one more thing. Your question was, do we think that they can pull off a Harris win?
Absolutely.
I think well, to an extent, I think Joe Biden is still in play because he is going to try, or whoever got their hand up his back is going to try to pull citizenship for all real quick.
No, that's not going to work there.
You don't think they're going to try to get those extra votes from somewhere?
No. The real thing is right now, technically speaking, nationally, you have more Democrat voters than you do Republicans because of the large cities and whatnot. So in reality, they got kind of an edge in that regard already. The real thing is getting them mobilized. But Biden is out. He's all the way out. So don't worry about him. That he's not really a factor. What you'd really be looking for in this case here is for Trump to make unforced errors. That's the real danger. And he's already demonstrated that he's just as bullheaded and stubborn and silly that he'll do it all over again. Picking J.D. Vance was an ego pick because Trump's ego is so fragile that he wants people who are loyal to him and not going to be a threat to him. And what he did was he sacrificed having the option to choose somebody who can lock up parts of the country that he doesn't currently have. Because like most egotistical, narcissistic, white supremacist males, he tells himself that everybody really loves him. And that the only reason people say mean things is because either they're haters or they're just in denial of how much they love me. As opposed to dealing with the reality of it. So he's chosen a guy he's very comfortable with, but that's not leadership. Leadership is using people that you need and work with and who bring something to the table that you don't have. He's chosen somebody who brings nothing. J.D. Vance brings nothing but baggage, not a thing. It doesn't matter about how you don't need more MAGA. You got that locked down. You don't need more help with the MAGA vote. You need help with the people who are never Trumpers. Now, you can't say, well, J.D. Vance was a never Trumper. He was a never Trumper right up until 2020. He spent the last 4 years kissing Trump's backside. He's not a never Trumper anymore. And he doesn't even have the ability to speak anymore for the people who are not aligned with Trump. He can't speak for him anymore. And worst of all, he's clearly proven that he doesn't even have any influence among those people. You need an individual who can speak to independents and disaffected Democrats, and that's not J.D. Vance. He lost all that. He gave all that up so that he could become Mr. MAGA Man and get elected to the Senate. He gave all that up. He doesn't have it anymore. He is Donald Trump Jr., and why would anybody support Donald Trump Jr. when they got the real damn thing? So Kamala, like I said, if it is Shapiro, I strongly suspect it will be. If it isn't, it'll just be somebody just like him. But I can't see anybody who could really take that place right now. You need somebody on the East Coast. You need somebody from that old industrial area, the place where Kamala Harris doesn't play. In other words, the places where Barack Obama was weak himself in 2008. So with David Plouffe there, he's going to just rerun the same playbook and say, let's shore her up in the areas where Obama was weak at. Well, that would be that eastern seaboard, the old industrial cities, the old industrial states. That would be those areas. And that would bleed over into Ohio too. So somebody like a Shapiro could straddle Michigan and Pennsylvania. Somebody like him could straddle those two. In other words, areas where she's weak. Trump doesn't have anybody helping him where he's weak. Which means what, jackass, what do you think? You're strong everywhere? Is that what you're telling yourself?
Yeah.
And Kamala Harris is not showing up in Georgia because she's some savvy operator. She's showing up in Georgia because she's recognizing early, I gotta put Georgia in play. So even if it's sloppy, even if it's awkward, even if it's imbalanced, she's got to move Georgia. Got to. If she doesn't get Georgia, forget everything else. So she's got to put Georgia in play, even if it's sloppy, even if it's club-footed. She's got to do something, and that's why she threw all this star power at this rally, was to get as much attention for it. And hey, I made an appearance in Georgia. I don't suspect you're going to see her too much after that, but she's got to make a mark there, and she did that. Now, whether or not it pans out, one appearance is not going to do that, but she needs to put Georgia in play, and she's done. Now she's clearly showing that she understands Georgia is not a given. I got to fight for it, and that's smart to do, by the way. Georgia is a state that she could pull. Now, she could pull Georgia as long as she doesn't do anything cringeworthy. But yes, Kamala Harris can win. This is not going to be 2008 where you have this huge groundswell of new voters. That's not what's going to happen. This race is going to be won by whichever candidate can get out their base. That's who's going to win this.
Well, look, Jason, thanks, man. I really appreciate this program. You on fire, man. You on fire, man.
Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Yeah, like I say, this isn't going to be where there's some groundswell of new voters going to pop up out of nowhere and swing this thing. This is going to be won by whichever candidate can mobilize their base the best. Whoever can do that is going to, or should I say, whichever candidate fails to do it. If people just start getting wobbly on Trump because they don't like what they're seeing and J.D. Vance looks like a dud, if that continues to happen, then Trump is already lost. If Kamala Harris comes out cringy Chuck Taylor, repeating the same mistakes she made in 2020, then she will fail to mobilize her base, and Trump will win simply because she was worse at mobilizing her base than he was. So whoever is worse at mobilizing their base, that's who's going to lose. But there's not going to be some huge groundswell of new voters. There's not a bunch of people enthusiastic. Boy, I can't wait to vote for Kamala Harris or Trump. That's not going to happen. Yeah, Quavo looks like he's been shopping in Charlotte Russe. What? Caller from area code 704, you're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Yeah, this is Robert. I'm calling from Charlotte, North Carolina.
All right, Robert from Charlotte, what's on your mind?
Well, I'm pretty observant. I just wrote a couple notes down, you know what I mean? Like you say, they're not like us. She done had that same hairstyle about 20 years. As far as the whole Megan Thee Stallion thing, I'm embarrassed. Like, this is not for us. Reparations we'll never see, I feel like, in our lifetime. I feel like the politicians follow mainstream media. Like, they don't go into communities and, you know, see what's going on. Really, they just follow what's being portrayed on TV. And like, if it was anything.
Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight here. Brother's kind of slow there, but we get the point. Let me get caller mirror code 929. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Good evening, Jason. This is Daryl from Chicago.
All right, Daryl from Chicago. What's on your mind?
Jason, excellent broadcast as always and tremendous analysis. You made a statement about whichever one base is going to be the worst, that's going to be the loser. I just see this as being a weird election. This seems to be one of those kind of elections that's going to have to take place.
Oh, dude, we've had candidates flop down. The damn nominee gets pulled after he gets all the votes.
Yes.
The other candidate damn near gets himself shot on national television. So, dude, there has never been an election cycle like this in the history of the union. Never been nothing like this.
That's right. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And the other part is that, believe it or not, the guy that's supposed to be the front runner is almost fumbling the ball. And I would not be surprised if he changed running mates. I would, at this point, everything else is happening. What else can be happening? What else can happen?
That could certainly occur. If he does, it'll just make him look in complete disarray because who you're going to choose. And it looks bad because why didn't you, if he goes back, for example, and gets Marco Rubio, why the hell didn't you choose him the first time? So things like that.
Right.
A guy who already looks reactionary enough, now he's going to look more erratic. So I don't think that would bode very well for him. He got what he wanted. He got a guy who's not a, quote, establishment Republican, so that Mitch McConnell, Mike Pence old guard that Trump has been at war with now for the last decade. J.D. Vance is not one of them. Well, good. Yeah, he's not one of them. He's also not influential outside of your small MAGA corner. He's also not influential outside of that either. So he's comfortable to the candidate and nobody else.
That's true. That's very true. That's very true. And then on the other side, the twerk contest, that's going to get just worse. I don't see that getting any better either.
Well, I mean, look, I think the whole thing was she wanted to come out. She wanted to make a big splash. She was in Atlanta. She wanted the word to get around that she's in Atlanta. You know, apparently what they told her is you got to make a big move in Georgia. You got to make a big move in Atlanta. You might as well go all out.
Yes.
They're going to make fun of you no matter what. They're going to mock your black credentials no matter what. They're going to say you're awkward and stuff no matter what. So you might as well swing for the fences and go for it. And that's exactly what she did, for better or for worse. Well, Jason was cringe with Meg Thee Stallion. Why wouldn't that be a bad move? What are her campaign advisors going to tell her? They're voting for you, not Meg. So they're going to vote for Meg's job is get their attention, but ultimately they're voting for you, not Meg. So ultimately it's not going to be a bad thing for us since only one of you is actually on the ticket. And there is a shrewd calculus that would also lend itself to that as well. Where they get into trouble is if this becomes a habit. If this becomes a habit, now it wasn't just a one-off. Now you're in trouble. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Also, the other thing is this also would serve to help her because if she did have any major flubs during her speech or whatever, the attention would be split. On the one hand, you're focusing on the inappropriateness of Meg Thee Stallion. On the other hand, do you even remember what Kamala Harris said? Nope. Let me get caller from area code 419. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, what's up, Jason? This is Joe calling out of Toledo.
All right, Joe out of Toledo. What's on your mind?
Well, Jason, like I always say, sir, you always keep it 100. And that rally performance was outright pandering, as Malcolm said years ago. And you had me cracking up with Quavo. That was just really funny. But I have a statement to make, and I also have a question. You know, what really baffles me is that our past history has always been put into question when you go get a job. Like, they want to know your previous jobs. And when you get a car or a house, they want to know your credit score. And even when you get in trouble with the law and you're found guilty, they have what they call a PSI, which means pre-sentence investigation, which determines how much time you'll get. My thing is, why is our people outright ignoring and denying her negative effect on our community throughout her whole career? And even some of our people are denying that she was detrimental to our community. And I just wonder, why is that?
I don't think that's actually what's occurring there. Kamala Harris didn't have some groundswell of support in 2020. I don't think the situation has changed. Political rallies are basically political theater for the purposes of having an event that you can present to the press and that can be passed around on social media and other avenues. So the real thing is she had to make an appearance. But my thing is, you take a look at what the hell you saw happen. There's as many white folk out in their audience as there were black folk in Atlanta. And also, remember, for political rallies, they vet who's allowed into the place. That's why your assassins have to be 200 yards away, because they actually can't get into the places anymore, because the only folks who are allowed inside are people who are already supporters and already in the tank. There are no independents allowed at these political rallies anymore. They haven't been now for 20 years. Everybody who's allowed in has to be vetted and certified. So they don't allow independents in anymore. Sometimes you get some gate crashers, but that's all you really get for the most part. So these rallies are theater in that regard to give you an effect that she's got some groundswell of black support. But the real thing is, polls are polls and rallies are rallies. You won't find out everything you need to until numbers got to start moving. Right now, she's in the middle of a honeymoon period. That honeymoon period, her campaign managers and advocates are going to try to extend this period as long as they can. But even they understand 3 months is too long to have to tread water. And she remember, 30 days ago, Kamala Harris was the most unpopular politician in America. What?
Joe was.
Have y'all forgotten? Just 30 days ago, people knew who the hell she was. She was the most unpopular candidate in America 30 years ago. Most unpopular. Now, all of a sudden, that's changed. Dude, if this were the stock market, if you saw a stock that did this, that nothing has changed except now the old CEO is out, you would never believe that this stock has suddenly become better than a dog. It's a dog. The only thing that's changed is there's been some weird politics that happened, but she's the same person that people thought was the worst politician in America 30 days ago. So in other words, people are very easily excited. They're very easily hyped up. They're happy Joe Biden is out, but eventually the honeymoon's going to be over and you're going to have to get back to this woman that you know again. And you're going to have to convince yourself that when she finally does remind you of all the things about her that you didn't like 30 days ago, what's gonna happen then? Because right now they're working very hard to prevent her from getting in situations that remind people of that. No interviews, no press conferences, no ad-lib comments. They're shielding her right now. For now. And they'll be able to do it for a little while. But eventually she got to come out. And when she does, we'll see. I'll let you have the last one.
And you know one thing I want to... Yes, sir. First of all, I want to say thank you for accepting my call. And I haven't heard of any policies or nothing for the citizens. And I just want to say this one last thing. Every time I hear someone say, she's black, I mean, it's all over. Everyone says she's black. But the research has proven that she does not have an ounce of black DNA in her because her father is Irish and East Indian and only lived in Jamaica. And we already know about her mom. So it turns my stomach when I hear that. but the lady definitely don't have an ounce of black DNA in her. Thank you for taking my call. B1.
Thank you very much for giving us a call. Now, look, Kamala Harris is the first openly transracial candidate. What? Damn! In American history. They're going for it. The idea that you can have a candidate who can be a transformer and a chameleon, and that, oh, I can be black if I need to, and I can be Asian if I need to, and I can be white if I need to. That you have a candidate who will not be required to identify, pick a side, or positively identify as something. This is the first one. This is the first openly transracial candidate. Remember, folks, that's why I showed y'all those headlines that they're describing her as a African American Asian, a black and East Indian. Remember? They're openly saying that she's black and Asian. So she can be whichever one she wants wherever she goes. Recognize what you're looking at there. The first openly transracial candidate. Now, she herself is not doing that, but all the folks trying to support her in the media and all of her sycophants online, that's what they're pushing, is she's the first transracial candidate. She can be whatever, whenever. And you have to give her credibility. So when she comes among black folk, you got to give her credibility as a black person. And when she goes among Asians, you got to give her that too. By the way, that's problematic for her. Because that doesn't go quite as easy as you might tell yourself sometimes that it needs to. You see, there's avenues to this and there's dimensions to this that a lot of folks don't know about or don't think about, aren't aware of, but there are avenues to this. Case in point, there are some of her people, and there are some folks who don't think about those kind of things, but as the anchorman of the New Black Media, I stay on top of this kind of stuff for you all because I have to. Want to go and show you something here from Breaking Points, by the way. Breaking Points, and they ought to know, necessarily, they're one of the hosts there should know. I want to show that to you here, by the way. Fair use Breaking Points, by the way. Fair use. I want to show you all this right quick. Now, you all know Crystal and Cigar. You all know Crystal and Cigar now, don't you? Well, they had some words about Trump on Kamala. She turned black after Indian. And I want to show that to you here.
It was part of a concerted strategy. Let's put this up there on the screen, because immediately afterwards they put up on the big screen at a rally that Trump was incoming. Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, California's Kamala Harris becomes first Indian American U.S. Senator. So, Crystal, you may have heard rhetoric like this before, because I think I was complaining about it. I think I was on our AMA. And all right, I'm going to do my best to try and thread the needle here, because people are very upset about this. And I think, and frankly, a lot of it is crocodile tears. I think that Kamala Harris is somebody who was raised very much almost identical to me. Mm-hmm. She was.
Oh, did you hear that? So Cigar saying she was raised almost identical to me.
Kamala Harris is somebody who was raised very much almost identical to me. Mm-hmm. She was raised basically by an Indian professor, South Indian specifically, and for the vast majority of her early life identified as Indian. Her mother even said that she culturally identifies as Hindu. It is clear, though, that after she attended Howard University, that being quote unquote black and black only became the identity that she began to ascribe, except when politically convenient. So Li Fang reported in his Substack several days ago that she ran as, quote, Kamala Devi Harris. Devi is her middle name. It's an Indian word as well. As South Asian in her first race in 2003, but by 2020 was listing her in her bio only as a black woman. And
okay, so all the Kamala butt kissers out there, and by the way, that was long after Howard University, Cigar, that is, she was in her first race was identifying as South Asian. Well, that was after Howard University, sir. So let's not get that twisted, y'all. That was after Howard. When she started off in politics and wanted to run in politics, she was identifying solidly as South Asian. Well, that's after Howard University. So I'm very glad that folks have gone back and gotten the invoices, but I need to remind you that wasn't during Howard. That was after. That was after. The timelines matter because you can't say, well, after Howard, she was pivoting on black except when politically convenient, when I can show you, well, after Howard, actually, that wasn't what she was doing then either. She only starts talking about black when she's around black folk. But when she was in politics, she was South Asian until she had national aspirations. Once she wanted to become a senator, now she got to start banging on that black thing. Now she got to do that.
In his Substack several days ago that she ran as, quote, Kamala Devi Harris. Devi is her middle name. It's a Indian word as well. As South Asian in her first race in 2003, but by 2020 was listing her in her bio only as a black woman. And this is where, if we connect our word clouds, the fake moniker, the being a chameleon, the code switching, which if we're all being honest and watching the way that she talks in front of various different audiences, I think is unambiguously true. That is kind of where I think Trump is trying to quote unquote triangulate here. And actually amongst Indians, this has been a long time beef with Kamala Harris, is she forgot she was Indian a long time ago.
So, and just
okay, well, him as an Indian American, you hear what he had to say there is that, by the way, that's been a beef. That's been a beef against her with Indian people in America for a while, is her doing that. That's been a beef for a while. So this idea that she's got this groundswell of Indian support's a damn lie. That's a damn lie. And been one. Call America 425. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, Jason, this is Mike calling from Seattle.
All right, Mike from Seattle. What's on your mind?
Man, this is an excellent program, man. And you took what I was going to say. She has no base. And that's why they desperately trying to hook her up with the black community. She has no Indian base. She has no black base. Her only base is people that hate Trump. That's all she got. I want to vote for you because I hate Trump. Not because you're going to do anything, not because you have any policies, because I hate Trump. That's what they banking on. That's all the Democrats have had. Trump has been running for president for 10 years, since 2015. Everybody knows Trump. Everybody knows what he's been the president. And you can say people can say whatever they want about Barack Obama and Trump, but both of them are excellent campaigners and politicians. Because when Trump sat down with the national black broadcasters, journalists, and said that Kamala Harris was not black, he always thought she was Indian, I said the race is over with right then and there. Because he knows that he needs to separate any support she has from black people, and she's done. She's done. If she don't get black support, she is done. And Trump knows that. That's what makes people talk about Trump, call him the orange man and all that, but Trump is not stupid. Once he did that, and now you see all the saga coming out, you see all these stories, she's not black. Without the black support, she has nothing. She's not even going to get, she's going to get historically blown out. So, I mean, that to me, that was brilliant. I thought the race was over with then, because what they're trying to do is hitch her to black people to get her over the finish line and play with emotion. She haven't done anything, haven't promised us anything, haven't laid out no platform for black people, but it's the I hate Trump crowd, and I'm going to get black people emotional and try to run a Barack Obama playbook. But she can't even do the Barack Obama playbook because Barack, people can talk about him, but he was actually in the hood on the south side of Chicago for years. He actually ran for, congressman in Chicago. He knew all the players. He knew Farrakhan. He knew Jeremiah Wright. He knew he was in the streets. So she don't even have that. And plus he had a black wife. So, I mean, I don't think this campaign is going anywhere. When you don't have a base, a strong base, I don't see where can you turn to. You cannot just win off of I hate Trump. If you hate Trump, vote for me. Trump is bad. That's not going to work this time.
Well, here's the thing. Kamala Harris, the bottom line is they understand that this is just a bunch of exuberance right now. She doesn't really have the support of the base. Please remember, the Democrat base is so damn finicky and so damn flaky that they dumped Joe Biden at the last minute. Now, do you think for a moment that Kamala Harris doesn't understand that that could be her tomorrow? The same way that these voters waited until 4 months before the election to turn on Joe Biden. What makes you think that 3 months before the election they won't turn on her too? So she is walking on eggshells. Remember what everybody was complaining about when Biden flubbed the debate with Trump. Everybody needs to be beating up on Trump. Stop talking about the candidate. They need to be beating up on Trump. And that's the issue. That's the issue. They think that we don't have anything else. You don't actually have any positives you can make for Kamala Harris. As I just reminded you all, 30 days ago, she was the most unpopular candidate in America. What that tells you is that her support is not solid. She's very shaky. And the slightest thing could undermine and completely shatter the folks who have come out supporting her. The slightest thing could shatter their support for her. And she knows it. She knows it. And then the race is right back where it was under Biden. Because the real thing is, what would you have thought about her chances against Trump 30 days ago? Well, that could very easily repeat itself. All she needs is one big mess up. And as I told you all, I actually predict that will happen. You got 3 months until the election. That's a long ass time for all kinds of craziness to happen. Eventually, she's going to have to come out and do what she was doing before and start talking to people and be personable. She's obviously not comfortable in her own skin. They're going to try to work with her as furiously as they can, but Beyonce is not going to get you elected. You're going to have to get yourself elected. And I just remind you, she understands how fragile her support really is. She just watched all these people turn on the guy the guy that they had just supported 60 days ago. She watched over the course of a week that they turned on him and dumped him over the course of a week. She knows full well that could be her next week without delay.
Yeah. Do you think they setting her up, Jason? Do you think it's really a play where they just want to run her to get her out the way and really install their real person that they want, Obama and them in 2028, whether it's Michelle Obama, whether it's somebody else that they want? Do you think it's just they're doing this to just so she can just have her turn?
If the media,
we allowed you to run.
If the media turns on Kamala Harris, if they do her like they did Joe Biden and actually start reporting on her properly and fairly, if they do that between now and election day, then the answer is yes. That's your answer. If you see them do to her what they did to Joe Biden, then you know that the fix was in the whole time. That this whole thing was about annihilating the Joe Biden political machine. Him and his flunky. And that this was all a setup for 2028 for who they really want to get in there, who I predict is going to be Gavin Newsom. That they're really prepping for him. That they think he can make all the headway, and he's really what they want, a white male. They don't want any Negroes. They don't want any minorities. They don't really want that. They actually want a white male, one who's actually fully vested in the tank for them. And the moves you see Newsom making now, cleaning up the streets and issuing executive orders telling cities they can go ahead and get them homeless camps cleaned up. Well, he hasn't had a problem with that all this time, not when he was San Francisco's mayor and not as governor. He never had a problem before then. Why now? On the one issue that you've been sucking on all this damn time. Well, it can't be because you're worried about California. It can't be because you're trying to appeal to California because you let the place become a slum and ran for governor of California. You must be looking outside of California for something. Now, that's nakedly obvious. He's looking outside that state for something. So my answer to you is, if right now it's too questionable in that regard, but if you want conclusive evidence, if they turn on her and start doing her like they did Joe Biden, that's the sign you're looking for that the fix was in. And that they were going to wait until September. Wait until they get into September and then start turning the news against her. And they know they can turn on or off her support like a light switch. So if you see the media start to turn on her in September, the fix is in.
Yeah, because I'm just looking at the economy and like And now they talking about we headed off a cliff and a recession is going to get bad. It's like, when did this happen? Because a couple of weeks ago they were saying Bidenomics, the economy was great. Now, yesterday it was the Dow down 700 points, and we already head to a major recession. I'm like, it seems like
well, Jerome,
that's not right.
Federal Chairman Powell is talking about they might do something on interest rates this year at their next meeting. I'll believe it when I see it. But in the meantime, yeah, definitely those are the signs you want to look for. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Let me get caller area code 206. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hi, good evening. This is Agnes calling from Seattle, Washington.
All right, Agnes from Seattle. What's on your mind?
Hi, I agree with the caller. He made some very, very good points. I do think this is a setup to get Kamala out of the way because the Democrats want to put Gavin Newsom in. Kamala was the placeholder, and I think right now what they're waiting on is, just like you said, make sure she gets the money because eventually they will pay her off and then quietly ask her to step down because the Joe Biden era is over. People see Kamala as just another extension of Joe Biden's political machinery. One, as the vice president, and two, an extension of his policies. And so I think what's happening, I can only speak for what I know about what's going on in my neck of the woods. People are turning against her. And these are the money people who are not as confident as having her over the economy as, they once believed.
Well, I think it's a little bit different there. I think that the California, as I said a couple of weeks ago, the California delegation got together. They got together. They ganged up George Clooney, Nancy Pelosi, Gavin Newsom, everybody in California. And where's Kamala Harris from? Yikes. So in any case, I think the California delegation got together in the back room and said, yeah, Joe got to go. And I think that they gave a wink and a nod to Kamala because they had to give a begrudging acknowledgement that Kamala Harris doesn't have black support, but she certainly does have black people who do look at her as one of them. And we can't just throw her under the bus. If we do, there are enough malcontents that will hold a grudge about this. So even if we don't support Biden through here, we don't really have the option of throwing her under the bus as smoothly as we would like to do. So we better at least make a show of supporting her because the alternative will be entirely too damaging. The problem is you let the woman become vice president. That's the problem. You can't sweep a vice president out of the way. Everybody understands their civics classes. If the president cannot serve, the vice president is supposed to take over. Most of the electorate is not making the distinction that this is a political rally and this is during political election season. They're not making that distinction. So even though that's what the distinction is. So Biden is not stepping down as president, but he's not going to rerun for election. Well, most people are not going to make that distinction. If he's not going to run for reelection, they're assuming, well, the vice president needs to take over. And now you're stuck with her, because people will not make that civics understanding. The vice president is supposed to take over for the president, and if you leapfrog her, then that becomes a problem. I will tell you all who did hold them hostage on this. Bowling Ball Martin. Now, he did hold them hostage on this. Roland sat up here and got together with some of them folks. That's why he was sitting up here and trying to talk to the National Black Journalists Association. There's a reason why he was doing that, because I told y'all he thinks he found an opening. He thinks he found a weakness. He thinks he found a place where the Democrats need him more than they hate him, and that they don't really have the option of ignoring him now, that he's got just enough pull that he could tip their fortunes among black people, among that electorate. And I'm not going to say he's totally wrong. So this black men for Kamala Harris, whatever, black men win with Kamala thing, he got all that together to prove that he can do something. He's got tangible sway. The fact that she didn't show up shows that they still don't really want to touch him if they don't have to, but he did that to threaten them. And the real thing is, yeah, y'all are going to go with Harris because Roland knows if Harris is really the only last shot he's got, Kamala Harris may let him in. Gavin Newsom never will. He's got a chance of getting an audience with Kamala Harris. He has no chance with Gavin Newsom. So he has every reason to demand that you give Kamala Harris her run, because his best shot at getting an audience is with her, not with any of your white folk. So he's got every incentive to tell you, y'all can't leapfrog Kamala. You got to go with Kamala. You can't leapfrog her. And knows he was the first person to come out and say that. He was the first one to come out and say that. So the folks who realize that they're not going to have any influence with the other parts of the political establishment, they're the ones who've been stomping for Kamala. I think they stomped loudly enough that it was clear that, yeah, they could make just enough. This is going to be an election of inches, not feet, inches. And these guys can make just enough trouble that you could lose the election by a hair. So we better do something to at least make a show that we're supporting her. Whether or not they follow through with it, my prediction is you will know by September. If they're going to pull the rug out from under her, they got to do it in September. I'll let you have the last word.
Well, given the fact that Roland Martin and Kamala Harris are in the Divine Nine, they're only political black, because that's what the Divine Nine teaches, is political blackness. They're only a small subset of a group of people. And given the ages of Kamala, 59, and Roland, he's in his mid-50s, that's them all niggas that the young people don't care about, okay? So, yeah, they may be the loudest voices in the room, but they're not going to gain any traction. And as far as making mistakes, Kamala has already made a big mistake when she had the twerk fest in Atlanta. She didn't read the room. She had a minstrel show that played to the white donors, of course, but once again, she doesn't have a base of support. She's already alienated the black folks just enough to where even the black members of high society, the Divine Nine, some other candidate, maybe Trump, who knows, maybe the couch, will peel away some of those people from the Divine Nine whom she is already pissing off. Just a thought, and I agree. September, I'm going to look out to see if they're going to pull out the rugs from underneath her, because the Fed rates and other things.
Well, I don't foresee any of the Boule Society abandoning her. She has been the best thing to happen to them. This is the only reason anybody's talking about it right now. They've got more. It helped raise their profile because they don't have anything else to raise it. This has raised their profile more than anything in the last 30 years. So I don't predict you're going to be able to peel off any of them to any degree. So they're going to roll with her because they're a little insiders club. Where the difficulty will be with the rank and file in black society who do not look to HBCUs or sororities or fraternities as the center of our cultural lives. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. The civil rights generation, sororities and fraternities were a big thing for them. Those of us who've come after that, it doesn't have nearly the importance that it did to them. That's where that weakness would come from. The sororities and fraternities are organized, but it doesn't matter how well organized you are if you're off code and your message doesn't resonate. Call from America Code 279. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
T-Hawk out of Sacramento, California.
All right, T-Hawk out of Sacramento. What's on your mind?
I got 2 points. First, I just want to say that all war is economical. All war is economics. So, I feel that it's incumbent upon us, which are like your viewers and everybody, to vote with our dollars. That's all pre-election. Every pre-election, all election is voting with your money, and so it's like, Jason, you are voice, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, we really gotta put our money to the use that, grows the three pillars that they listen to. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean.
Well, definitely. I mean, if you're going to organize, dollars are going to be essential to that, because certainly your influence politically is going to be limited by your profile being raised. And if you don't have money, you can't raise the profile. So having a code and having an agenda and all that, it's absolutely correct. You're absolutely right. If you don't have money behind it, it makes it difficult. Thank you very much for giving us a call. By the way, dovetailing off of what we said last week here when I was asking for folks to give me an email, some of y'all niggas, by the way, I emailed you back and you didn't respond. So some of you, if you did respond to it there, you know who you are. But some of y'all I emailed and didn't respond. So don't have me mess around and have to say names. I might have to fool around and say some names about that. But as far as getting that together, I'm deadly serious about that. I'm dead serious about that. So don't play in my email. If you're not about that life, you're not serious about it, don't sit up here and go jockeying for attention for me, because I'll help you get attention. You just won't like it. But by the way, for those, I did get quite a number of emails, by the way. I got quite a few emails about it. So I have responded to everybody. I'm going to have a second round of responses here coming here within the next couple of days. So for those of you who did reply, just be looking for that to be coming there. But if you didn't listen to last week's program, you need to. If you didn't listen to last week's program, you need to review that before you ask what email. If you don't know what it is, that means you didn't listen to last week's program. You need to go listen to that. Then you'll actually know the context of it. Let me get caller from area code 281. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Yes, it's Tony from Houston.
All right, Tony from Houston. What's on your mind?
Well, I'm glad I got in. First of all, I'd like to say excellent broadcast. I'm glad you're getting rid of Blog Talk. First of all, Kamala Harris is not black. August 20th, 2020, the Wall Street Journal opinion page, written by, I'll spell it, Sadanand, last name Dhume. He writes biweekly on India and Southeast Asia. He says what Kamala Harris isn't saying about her mother's background. Kamala Harris and her mother and her family are Tami, T-A-M-I, Brahmins. They fled identity politics and socialism with the U.S. The Brahmins are the highest caste system in India. They are the white supremacists of Southeast Asia. And so she was raised that way. She is not black. She has nothing to do with black people. Only thing she is a chameleon who is adopted what the stupidity of black people are, shaking the booty, and you get that's why she can sit on national television and tell the world, and she said it. If you think I'm going to do something that only benefits black people, no, because she is not black. And he wrote an excellent article in 2020 which showed exactly her family, what their background is, how they sided with the British in the colonial occupation of India. It's an amazing article. Black people need to read it, the Wall Street Journal. I know very few read it, but you need to read it. It will tell you everything you want to know about Kamala Harris. She is a fraud.
Well, here's the thing about me. My whole thing is these folk who these political parties keep bringing, both Democrat and Republican, they keep shoving folk out here. The only thing they share with us is a skin tone. They don't have our identity. They don't have our code of conduct. They don't have our culture. They don't have our heritage. I'm talking about folks who are not immigrants, by the way. They don't have our culture. They don't have our heritage. They don't associate with us. No, they ain't out in the trenches with none of us. They're at their white churches and their white country clubs. There's the token Negroes. These political organizations and these political parties grab some Negro somewhere who's their token mascot. Hey, you'd make a good candidate to go slum among your folk there, not somebody from the soil. So for Democrats and Republicans, that's the game that they've always played in that regard. And what they don't like is that we're not afraid to tell them, yeah, you don't get to dictate to us whether this person qualifies as black or not. Because what we're saying is it's not about genetics. It's about their political and social affiliation. And Kamala Harris identifies as black politically, but socially, she is not one of us, and we are no longer going to accept political blacks.
Lastly, I'll say this. You cannot depend, black men, what more further evidence do you need that we need to take this back? You cannot depend on black women. Kamala Harris is everything that black women want to be. When they see her, they see themselves. She is light-skinned, damn near white. She has straight hair, which black women spend inordinate amounts of money to get the straightest, most exotic hair they can get, which gives them status among black women. And also her tone of voice is that valley girl, white girl sounding. How many black men know that when a black woman feels that she is superior or wants to sound intelligent, she uses that tone of voice to you? Black women are delusional and they are emotional. You cannot lay your financial, your political future in their hands. It's already too late for too many black people in this country. The homelessness epidemic is astounding for black people, particularly men. The unemployment rate is skyrocketing. You can't buy a home. Inflation is eating 35 cents of every dollar that you earn. There's no more time left, black men. It's all over for many of you. This is your last chance. You've been warned.
Thank you very much for giving us a call here. I certainly disagree to an extent on that. I'm going to tell the truth, though, because I've always done that. There is a segment among black women. We got to be honest about one thing. Y'all, your sorors, that's describing them. Whoever is the light-skinned chick, she gets to lead among the sorors. It's not a pretty thing to say. It's not a cute thing to say. It's not a pleasing thing to say. But if we're going to have some real talk for a minute, among black men, Steph Curry don't get to lead. But among black women, what we're saying is it's time to get that house in order. All we're saying is among black women, it is time to get that house in order. Among black men, the Steph Curry don't get to lead. Among black women, Mariah Carey, Halle Berry, Kamala Harris, they get to stand in front of all the dark-skinned women and they get to lead. If we're going to talk truth to power, let's talk truth to proof. There's no shame in acknowledging the math of it there. There's no shame in acknowledging the math of it. This woman has done nothing to get black credentials, but neither did Halle. The real thing is that it's too damn easy for the women. It's too easy for somebody to jump out front there and, okay, here goes the support. It is essential that we have a real conversation and say it's time to get that house in order. Kamala Harris shouldn't be able to move among black women the way she does. Kamala Harris shouldn't be able to move among the sorors the way she does. That should have got nipped in the bud decades ago. She shouldn't be able to move the way she's moving. As a group. There's a reason the little Shamar Moore nigga can't move like that amongst us. What? The men ain't gonna have it. Jason, you gonna say it? Oh, I'm gonna say it. They were talking about how Meg Thee Stallion and Beyonce are both from Houston. Do y'all really want me to go there with it? Do you really want me to go there with it? No, you need to take this as a building moment and a teaching moment. That if we're going to talk about blackness and we're going to talk about they not like us, then let's be real about it. Let's be real about who's not like us and what that means. Which also means taking on these historical albatrosses been hanging around your neck. Does the arc of the culture historically, has that gone towards the darker or towards the lighter? I would suggest to you for the leadership towards the darker, but for the preferences, you can say whatever in the world you want to about your most famous black women in the last 20 years. But we need to be real about what some of what's been allowed to leak in there and assert itself. These folk who they move all kinds of funny when they got a chance to do it. Have her sitting right there in your sorority, and what's the first thing she does when she leaves the sorority? She goes to an HBCU, she's in a black sorority, and then the first thing she does when she leaves is go marry a white man. How many of y'all didn't see that coming? They sitting right there to this day, skibby. And if Barack Obama had come trotting through the door with one of the white women that he had been with for the previous 20 damn years, they'd have sat up here and run his ass out of town on a rail. But Kamala Harris can sit there in the front of a group of black women, and she's the queen bee, and this is a black sorority at a black school in a black town, and the second she left that damn place, all right, where's the white man at? And then after she does that, y'all still come back, ski-wee. No, what we're saying here is that for the women, it is imperative as ever as we delineate ourselves as a people and as we firmly etch out the boundaries of our culture and our identity, we need to take this as an opportunity to take a look at that too. The sorority's been moving reckless and flagrant now for decades. That's been their claim to fame, is whoever the little mixed chick is, whoever the little white-skinned girl is, she gets to lead. And for the women, this is a teaching moment. To our sisters, this is a teaching moment. What I'm saying is y'all know it's the truth. Let's stop that. You know that's the truth. All of you who've been to college, all of you who've been to an HBCU, all of you who've been part of sororities, y'all know damn well the little mixed chick run things. She's the head cheerleader. She's the class president. The little mixed chick run the yard. If there's 20 of y'all, it'll be 2 little mixed chicks. Whoever which one's the lightest one, she's the one runs the damn yard, and y'all aggregate around her. Y'all rally around her. Let's just call it for what it is. Let's stop pretending that's not real. That's not down in black women. That is saying get the damn house in order and stop repeating the foolishness and silliness of the civil rights generation. You sitting here doing it in real time, and we're supposed to overlook it. No, we're not. No, we're not. We are not doing any sort of harm for calling it out for what it is. That's how you stop that mess from going forward. This is not the Obama years where we see flagrant foolery and then we just overlook it. That woman ain't supposed to be able to move the way she moving. How the hell is she gonna come up in here and come in big and booming in town, big in daylight? Sitting up here in Atlanta talking to black folk. Why didn't she bring Doug? You're going to sit here and talk about the black State of the Union with Tavis Smiley. Why don't you bring Doug up here with you since you're going to make that speech? You're going to come talk to us about systemic racism. Bring Doug's ass up here while you talking. I want to see you on stage, sitting next to your husband, hold his hand, and say the same damn thing you said to Tavis Smiley then. And let's see how that goes over. Do it then. In the chat room, T. Bruce Ford, you need to give me a call. My mods, make sure you get T. Bruce Ford to go ahead and give me a call. We're going to go ahead and get him on the phone lines here. He has a question, I got answers. T. Bruce Ford, you need to call up. Call America 417, you're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Al from Springfield. How you doing this evening, Brother Jason?
All right, Al from Springfield. What's on your mind?
Yes, I kind of echo the sentiment what that last caller just said, because as you pointed out earlier today, you posted, my dad's from Jamaica, okay, and he was really happy and proud that she was the vice president of the United States, but when I talked to him, she said she never. Have you ever noticed though? And I told this to my dad. She never talks about her Jamaican side and everything else.
I'm glad you mentioned
tries
that.
Yeah, she never talks about that. But she did talk about one time how she likes to make ackee and sawfish and all that type of stuff and everything. And I'm glad you're talking about this, about some of these black women, you know, especially Kamala Harris and everything else. And she doesn't bring up her husband, and then but they don't even talk about her 3 other stepchildren and everything else. Why don't she do that? Why
Well, I mean, they show that like on her Twitter page and things like that about that Jamaican thing. Let me go ahead and address that right quick. I don't know who this jackass is on my Twitter page. Whoever the hell this nigga is who jumped up here, but he was the biggest damn cheerleader. He got like 3,000 followers on Twitter, so that tells you how influential he is. But as soon as I made my post, here this clown comes to talk about no memories, huh? Nobody said anything about memories. I said all of her historical life stories are about her Indian family. So this guy was he's one of these desperate Democrat shills who they know that this is where she's weak. So I guess his job is to go out and anytime somebody mentions about Kamala Harris being weak on her blackness, his job is to try to bolster it and enforce her credentials, which she doesn't have. Take a look at supposedly her grandmama, her family, and take a look at what she looks like over here. I'll go ahead and leave that what it is. Dude didn't like what I had to say there, so he jumps up. What was that? He also posted some video of Kamala Harris talking to the Prime Minister of Jamaica. Yeah. Let me go ahead and get that there. Let me go ahead and get that up here right quick. Okay, yeah, the Prime Minister of Jamaica sat up here and posted about that. And I was like, okay, you know, you're really going to have to reach to make that one work. But you know what? I'm very glad he posted that because, by the way, this one takes care of itself. Couple of things I want y'all to slow down. I'm going to let you finish, but I want y'all to listen to what she had to say.
In addition to, of course, then those people-to-people ties between the United States and Jamaica, as I said, in context of personal privilege, I grew up going to Jamaica, and we are acutely aware of the interconnection and interdependence between the United States and Jamaica. As a point of personal privilege, I grew up going to Jamaica. My family, half of my family is from St. Anne Parish in Jamaica, and I know I shared that history with millions of Americans.
I grew up going to Jamaica. There's a whole bunch of us done visited Jamaica. I grew up going to Jamaica. Not I grew up in Jamaica. I grew up going to Jamaica. Well, I'll be damned. Carnival Cruises goes to Jamaica. What the hell? But hold on, everybody, because it gets worse. I'm so glad that this jackass, whoever you are, CJG, C-Jackass G, I'm so glad you said that because there's something else I want y'all to hear here because it sounds like she's going in deep and it sounds like she's profound. And watch as she flips this. I think y'all are going to catch it when you hear her say it. Watch how she flips it on them.
Who have their roots through the generations in Jamaica. In addition to, of course, then those people-to-people ties between the United States and Jamaica, as I said, in context of being neighbors in the Western Hemisphere, we have a long-standing strategic relationship and a diplomatic relationship and a deep historic partnership. And it is in furtherance of that I'm proud and pleased to announce today 3 specific initiatives that the Prime Minister and I discussed that are in furtherance of the strength and the importance of that relationship. We talked extensively about the Prime Minister's approach and the need of Jamaica to continue to invest in its prosperity, in its economic health and strength. To that end, the United States, and I'm announcing today, will be investing $20 million to assist in the strengthening and the expansion of Jamaica's commerce in a way that we fully intend will have an impact in strengthening the economy of Jamaica and drive economic growth. We also recognize, just as it has been in the United States for Jamaica, one of the issues that has been presented as an issue that is economic in the way of its impact has been the pandemic.
Now, do you all realize how many times she said the word economic in relation to Jamaica? Economic, 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 economic. So when she talks about Jamaica, it's economics. And by the way, she said $20 million. Now, Ukraine, what? Ukraine got a little bit more than 20 million. Afghanistan got a little bit more than 20 million. Israel gets a little bit more than 20 million. Jamaica, hold this 20 million. You can't build a resort in Jamaica for $20 million. You can't build a hotel in Jamaica for $20 million. You can't do that. But Jamaica, here, we are looking forward to your prosperity. Here, $20 million. The Carnival Cruise people spend $100 million. So I would just let that speak for itself, but I wanted you all to hear that part right there. By the way, even when she does reference Jamaica, that's it. Now, here's the thing that CJG Jackass and his desperation attempt to do. She talking about Jamaica. She talked about Jamaica like a damn tourist. She didn't tell any stories about her childhood. She didn't talk about what she loves about it. She didn't sit up here and name the streets she been on. She talked about it like a damn tourist. She named, I've been to Jamaica and, this island right here, and kept it pushing.
She probably don't even know the provinces of Jamaica and everything else.
She learned just one, probably when she go see one of her people over there as a child, and that is it. I don't want to get off in her personal business, but y'all know there's been a falling out between her and her father. He didn't support her in 2020 for president. I mean, the dad didn't come out and say that. That tells you everything you need to know right there. So, like I say, no, she doesn't have any connection to the people. She doesn't have any connection to the soil. She doesn't have any Jamaican support. There are no Jamaicans who support her.
Yeah, that's part of the reason why she married a white man, because she had a falling out with her father, earlier on in her life. And she has the nerve to sit up there and talk about, I'm Jamaican and everything else. I can make ackee and sawfish and curry curry chicken and all that type of stuff and everything. I mean, I'm sorry, but, I can understand why we have to close breaks when we hear this type of stuff about Kamala Harris.
She talks about Doug. She talks about Doug's side of the family. She definitely talks about her Indian side of the family ad nauseum. Anything with Jamaica, she mentions Jamaica as a geographic anecdote and keeps it pushing. There is no connection. She has no Indian support. She has no Asian support. And because black folk have adopted an attitude of just taking in what everybody else throws away, then folks sit up here and try to use that against us. So when you sit up here and talk about folk like Halle Berry and whatnot, that's the very definition of black when convenient. But the second that you test them and you give them one option for one day to opt out, they ain't never dated a white person before, but the second you give them an option to opt out, they bolt for it. And it would be different if Kamala Harris was 10 toes down among black folk before then. It'd be different if she could at least do the damn Harry Belafonte thing. Yeah, I know. Tellers and this and that. I get it. But it would be different if she could even go that far with this. She can't even do that. She has no connections to black people in America nor outside of America. She's got a genetic lineage, and that's it. Her daily life is not as a black person, a Jamaican, or anything else. Her daily life is as a white Indian. I'll let you have the last word.
Her connection, she's got three connections. She's got connections to, unfortunately, to the Cardi B, the Meg Thee Stallions type of trashy thought culture. She has Alice Walker, I Hate Black Men movement behind her and everything else, and she has the tether class. That's who she has.
Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Somebody in the chat room said that she should be proud of her Jamaican background. She doesn't have a Jamaican background. That's the problem. GJ Jackass here, she doesn't have a Jamaican background. Her only connection to Jamaica is some childhood photographs. She doesn't have a relationship with her father. She doesn't have a relationship with the people. Jamaica is a place she visits the same way you visit it. India is her background. her childhood stories. She can tell you stories of her childhood, of her experiences in India and things she learned from her Indian grandfather. She doesn't talk about Jamaica and her grandparents on that side of the family the way she does the Indians. There is no connection. Jamaica is a place she hears about, and a place that she's visited a handful of times in her life. She doesn't know anything about Jamaica. All she knows is, well, that's where my dad's from. My dad's from Jamaica. Yeah, but you're not. And what I'm saying is, I'm not condemning her for that either. But don't try to pass yourself. Jamaica's going to be your black credentials. And I'm like, you ain't got no connection to Jamaica. Jamaica does not recognize you. You've had 30 plus years to demonstrate your connection to Jamaica. Jamaica don't know you. Jamaica would have to think back. When has she ever repped us? She ain't never repped the soil of Jamaica. She's never repped the people. She ain't got nobody who can vouch for her credentials in Jamaica. So you're not going to be able to vicariously give her black credentials by way of Jamaica. She doesn't have Jamaican credentials and she doesn't have black credentials. It is what it is. She uses black as a political designation the same way that Barack Obama did. He's politically affiliated with blackness, but he's not a black person. He doesn't live black. You take a look, all his friends are white and mulatto. He doesn't have any connection to the soil. That's why when black men were getting killed in America, Barack Obama could overlook that. That's y'all over there. Oh yeah, and guess what? Kamala Harris did the same damn thing. Isn't that very interesting? When black folk were getting killed by white supremacists for the last decade, both Barack Obama and Kamala Harris were very easily able to overlook it. Didn't jail nobody. Well, isn't that interesting? Caller America code 210, you're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
From behind enemy lines, this is Brother Love, calling out of Liberty, Texas, birthplace of Bobby Seale.
All right, Brother Love, what's on your mind?
You know, I remember back in the day, it used to be that these presidential campaigns, you know, was a more dignified affair. And now, ever since Clinton, over the last 30 years, it's gone from Showtime at the Apollo to Magic City. And honestly, I ain't never been to a strip club, but I mean, who needs to go to a strip club? Because now the evolution has been televised. And I can't help but to wonder, if Malcolm X were alive today, what do you think he would say? I'm going to land my plane right there, TBA. B1. I'm out.
Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Let me get caller America code 213. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Good afternoon, Jason. This is Omari out of Watts, South Central LA. Thank you for taking my call.
Omar, the Watts, what's on your mind?
Hey, Jason. Thank you for the broadcast. I'm kind of gonna ask you for a home run. Speaking of batting for the fences, just a home run prediction. Let's say, and if we could take it back to the question of the Negro celebrity in America, let's say that the Democrats lose this election, the next presidential election, and the election after that, or even let's say that they win, but then eventually, no matter what, the B1 movement takes hold and that the Democrats can no longer get our vote. Let's say that happens and that their black celebrity flunkies and their Negro whisperers can no longer affect us. Is there going to be a huge backlash in Hollywood where basically they get, you know how shout out to Professor Black Truth, he says they like to break their tools when they're done with them or then they can't use them. Do you predict that there could be like a huge, nasty, pretty much an open secret backlash and punishment of the black celebrity class where they basically say like, y'all got to go full, if you want a job, if you want to get a role, if you want to get a part, if you want to get a music deal, you got to go full step and fetch it, full subservient, debasing, dehumanizing step and fetch it. And like, do you predict that can happen? And if so,
I mean,
what would the fallout of
they're
that be?
already doing that. We got niggas in dresses and females in combat boots. I mean, it's just so. I don't know how much further they could go. I mean, if Meg the Stallion and Quavo are not a minstrel show, tell me what is. If that's not it, well, brother, what exactly are they not doing that you'd be looking for?
But this is before we've actually like let the Democrats fail. Like this is before. Let's say it really gets bad.
No, I mean, brother, say if it really gets bad, it's already bad. I mean, brother, there's not very much. There's not much more room to go. There's at this point, the only thing you'd be looking for is for them to put paint buckets on their heads and march down Amsterdam Avenue. I mean, that would be it, and that wouldn't even stand out today. So, brother, we already there. I mean, it's just varying degrees of it now. So we're already there. If these white folks stamp their foot, these Negroes is dancing a jig. So as far as the celebrity segment is concerned, they've been completely bought off now for decades. They're just desperate for their next gig. So no, what change? That's not going to happen in that regard. So they've already got them in the position that they're in. That's why when Kamala sat up here and did this thing here, they all come rallying. It's not like they can afford to say no. So you're already there.
Okay, but like say, I'm sorry to interrupt, but will more Diddy situations happen where they start like punishing them, like all their dirty secrets, that sort of thing?
Well, first of all, it wouldn't be akin to Diddy; it'd be more akin to Bill Cosby. But the problem with that is that type of hazing. You know, when they're ready to come for you, they're ready to come for you. So the only thing they're really, you're either going to have to be completely non-threatening, or if they have to be not afraid that you're going to become a threat. So there's where guys, and Diddy's mistake was that Diddy made enemies of everybody who worked with him. Bill Cosby, to a lesser degree, you know, I've always been on Bill Cosby's case about that. Bill Cosby didn't really help Bill Cosby was more Bill Cosby centered and oriented, and if they do have anything they can use against you, you'll be just hanging out by yourself. Diddy was getting high on his own supply, and that's what happened to him. So as far as the rest of these folk right here, they got dirt on most of these people. In Hollywood, for the most part, they're not really going to let you move around if they ain't got something on you that they think they can use. So that's why I was like, with Diddy, the problem with Diddy was that Diddy didn't want to admit that he liked them boys. And he's trying to hold on to this idea that the rest of the world don't see it when the rest of the damn world sees it all over the place. If he had been willing to just let that be, then Cassie could have filed her little old bull jive ass lawsuit and Diddy could have fought it, and that would be the end of that. But he was so scared that they were going to depose them boys he'd been laying up with and tell them about the freak off and the freak in and the freak out, that, you know, he was worried about what's going to happen then, when in reality it's like, dude, all the folks you running around with in Hollywood, Diddy, they all do the same damn thing. What are you trying to hide, bro? And I guess he feels like, well, the females wouldn't dig it as much if he had to admit
not
that, you know,
not outside of Atlanta.
Yeah, that he really like him hard and hairy half the time. So he was afraid that, I guess he was afraid that was going to mess up his steez. And in reality, it didn't have to be. So, look, the bottom line is, you know, y'all know, I know a bunch of these folk in that regard, and they got dirt on most of them, or they got their hooks in them, or they, even for the ones they don't have a scandal on, they've got financial leverage over them. There isn't a scandal over Taraji P. Henson. There's not a scandal over her.
Yeah.
Well, no, but she already told you what the problem was for her. No, they don't have a scandal on my paper, but they got me over a barrel with the money. So they can turn it on and turn off the spigot whenever they want to. And we can go down the list of folk in the same condition. Tony Braxton, you know, it's always some black folk out there that their money is messed up and they ain't never been right and gotten right again. And if you don't have the ability to tour, you can't really replenish those resources if you can't tour. So for those who are not in the music business and can't tour, they're in the movie business or something like that, they really are out there just hanging on for another gig. And if they don't give them one, you're dead in the water.
Right. But do you think they would ever go like full pre-civil, like Perry Mason, where they just like have all white cast, all white films, say all white, like screw y'all niggas, you can't, you're useless. Would they ever go like that?
No, because there's too much. Black people set the cultural trends, so you're always going to have an overseer influence to be able to control that. So the strategy they've chosen is they're going to grab some LGBT Negroes. That's who they're going to get, and that's who the new... So you had Denzel Washington with The Last Generation, Denzel Washington, Wesley Snipes, Samuel L. Jackson. You notice they started winnowing all that out, and now you got little old Michael B. Jordan, but that's it. And other than that, there's a bunch of LGBT folk running around there, and that's going to be your black representation. So they do that for a reason. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Let me get a caller, Miracle 901. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, Jason. This is Kelly out of Jacksonville.
All right, Kenny out of Jacksonville. What's on your mind?
Kelly out of Jacksonville. Sorry about that.
All right, Kelly. What's on your mind?
Just talking about just Megan Thee Stallion and Quavo. Just those two. Start with those two. It just the imagery is so deep. It's not even for black people. I believe it's for LGBT people because Megan is wearing a suit, which is normally for a man, masculine appearance, and Quavo, just like a lot of our black celebrities, is wearing pearls, which is very feminine. And I understand wearing a gold chain or a diamond chain, but pearls is just very extreme.
Well, I'm not sure that he's actually wearing pearls. I will just say that it looks like it's definitely a chain that could pass for it. So I don't actually think he's wearing pearls. Or at least I need to get a zoom in to be sure about that. So I'm not gonna commit to that just yet because I haven't been able to examine it. But I will say if those aren't pearls, they'll do till they get here. You make a very good point. You make an excellent point, however, that I didn't really get to zero in there earlier. Yeah, Meg is the one wearing the suit and tie, and Quavo is the one wearing the see-through blouse. Dr. Francis Cress Welsing is sitting up there in heaven somewhere saying, "Told you."
Yeah. Yeah, ain't that the truth? And to Kamala Harris, it's like she shot herself in the foot twice. She's not black, like Black American. She doesn't have any Jamaican heritage or black heritage to begin with. And she's technically Indian to a sense, but at the same time, in the Asian community, they don't like black people at all, general period. Like Asians are the second to like white people when it comes to being very anti-black. And so Asian people in America, those white-skinned Asians, those light-skinned Asians, they won't support her simply because she's already too brown as it is as a person. So she's claiming to be Asian when she's Indian in the first place. And, you know, those light-skinned like Koreans, Japanese, Singaporeans, Chinese people do not really like dark-skinned people in general. And then in India, it's those two-tier systems. They don't really like dark-skinned people in the first place in India, which is crazy because they're even darker than me, and I'm black. So it's just like she shot herself in the foot twice, and she was better just being a prosecutor in California or just a state attorney or general attorney in California than to even become vice president, because it's not going to work out. And becoming president, I feel like it's just a long shot. If she becomes president, wherever Dr. Clark Anderson said, no matter what coin it is, Republican or Democrat, black people are just going to go through a lot more pain, whoever is in office, regardless. So,
please
I don't vote in
understand,
general, but they don't have
Kamala winning the White House is not a long shot. You are in a year of political upheaval, and during times of upheaval and tumult and chaos, there are no such things as long shots. Anything suddenly becomes possible. As a matter of fact, not just becomes possible, anything becomes likely, which is the whole reason why empires that manipulate other parts of the world like chaos and anarchy, because in chaos and anarchy, anything isn't just possible, it's likely. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. He made a very good observation. I went ahead and zoomed in on Quavo's outfit there. So I don't know if those are beads or if they're diamonds or whatever. I don't know, but I'm like, I don't know if they're beads or not, but yeah, definitely. So let me get this straight. He's the one with the see-through top, and Meg Thee Stallion is the one with the suit and tie. She's the one with the coat and tie. The girls got the coat and ties, and the fellas are wearing the beads or the pearls and the see-through tops. I'm like, okay. All righty then.
Alrighty then.
Let me get caller from area code 815. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from? Caller from area code 815. You're on live.
Oh, Mr. Black, this is T-Rex Sports.
Okay, this Negro is calling me from the fishbowl. All right, brother, can you hang your head out the window of your apartment there when you say this next part here, because you are digitizing real bad?
Sir, I don't know. It's been like that since I was holding on, waiting for you to pick up, sir.
Okay, y'all. Well, brother, see if you can call us back from the fire escape. See if you can go stand out there on the fire escape and see if you can call us back there instead, because he's digitizing real bad. It sounds like Pinocchio underwater. So see if you can give us a call back from the fire escape or something. Caller Miracle 832, you're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Yeah, it's Jay out of Houston, Texas.
All right, Jay out of Houston, what's on your mind?
So I don't want to take up too much of your time, but I do want to ask this question because now we're on Megan Thee Stallion and Kamala Harris. I see that these people, they want the illusion of equity and not the actual equity. So how do we change that? Because I see that now over here in Houston, Sylvester Turner has now thrown his hat into the Sheila Jackson Lee, her position. So what's up with these people who want the illusion? What's up with these people that want the illusion of equity and actual progress to people who actually want progress? I mean, how can we get them to stop seeing a fantasy land and the reality of the world? And I'm gonna
okay, well, you know, first of all, in the case of Sylvester Turner, he's really trying to stay out of prison at this point because folks been doing investigations about where money been going. So for those of you who don't live in Houston and don't follow the news in Houston, you know, they really been investigating a lot of the folks and some of the things that were going on under Sylvester Turner's administrations. And so folks are picking up some things and investigating some folk. I think they just got rid of the police chief. They just got rid of the police chief in Houston. They want to replace him with the white Latino police chief in Katy, Texas. They want to bring him in. So they're running out the black police chief and bringing in the white. They want to bring in a white Latino one from Katy, Texas. So a lot of the folks who are around under Sylvester Turner and whatnot, there's a whole bunch of folks looking up under the carpets to see if they can find any dirt or whatever. So things are moving there in Houston. So Sylvester is probably looking to see if he can get himself some political allies or get in a position where he's too valuable to send to prison. So just keep your eyes and your ears on that. But as far as equity is concerned, look, folks love to talk about that as long as it doesn't come with responsibility or whatever. This is not responsibility you see on the screen. I mean, we supposed to be rock-ribbed and serious. So what they promote to black folks, look, y'all just sing and dance and have a good time, and you let us white folk do all the serious work. You let us take care of all the adult stuff. This is intended to condition us to believe that our job is to be the featured entertainment and everybody else has to be competent. And that's not where we're coming from with it. Let me get caller from area code 404. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from? Caller from area code 404. You're on live.
AKM Caprice from Atlanta.
Okay, Caprice from Atlanta. What's on your mind?
Hey, man. Yeah, man. Hey, man. I live in Gwinnett. Referring back to the whole Quavo, as you say, Atlanta got to take an L. Got to take an L. Hey, I lived on the north side for 10 years. Even before the Migos came out, it wasn't no billboards like I've seen, because originally I'm from South Georgia. I've been up here since 2004, so you say 20 years. And then I'm also into music as well. You know, like they just popped out of nowhere, and Takeoff was the brains behind it. So, you know, it's kind of cringeworthy seeing Quavo. That's my God. You know, you kept saying, Atlanta, you got to take this L. You got to hey, no, bro. Gwinnett County to Athens, that's where they from. Ain't got nothing to do with the city of Atlanta.
Bruh.
You know what I'm saying?
Y'all gonna have, look, here's the issue. Y'all gonna have to do like Chicago. Chicago don't just let flagrant niggas come in and claim the city. So y'all late now. Y'all trying to disown them now. Y'all late, bruh. Y'all late.
Jason, I feel you. I was just like,
y'all want to wait till niggas put on satin and silk and then try to disown them. I'm like, the time to be doing that was 7 years ago.
That's performing, Jason. That's performing. He did that. He ain't got no backing on that,
bro. He is claiming North Atlanta, and is North Atlanta pushing back?
In North Atlanta, we chilling. Come on, Jason. You done been to the A. You know.
This nigga done went to the pink store. He done made sure he got something sheer to walk out there and said, "Hi, North Atlanta's finest." North Atlanta need to push back heavy on this. Y'all need to get Chris Brown to come do a new diss track. That's what y'all need to do. Just understand. Other than that, you got to own this. Welcome to the new look of niggas in Atlanta. This is gonna be it, right? Everybody gonna be asking you where your pearls and your see-through top are. I'm from North Atlanta. Oh, where's your see-through top?
I just had to take it for the city by way of what I know to be true. You know what I'm saying? Because you was going in early. You was going in earlier. Hey, you gotta take this out. Like, hold on, because I've done been in that area. Really, the north side is not Atlanta. It's
really, bro?
Not Atlanta.
Really?
Yeah.
Now who's going far with it? The north side ain't really Atlanta when you think about it.
Jason, Gwinnett County, no, GC Transit and MARTA, they were supposed to hook up and link up like transport for it's been about 15 years now. They never did it.
Now, look at that. Now they trying to divest North Atlanta. Now they just, well, you know, they ain't really part of us. The train don't even get up there like it's supposed to. You know, it really ain't like that.
That's not that. Hey, man. That's just the piece I want to add, you know what I'm saying, for the city.
Well, all I can say is when they build the pink store up there, I need y'all to go and patronize it because it's Quavo done already claimed his little piece of it. So bro, North Atlanta, y'all got to go with him. Y'all got to go with him.
Man, it's Asians and Migos that run North Atlanta, straight up, and Indians. You know what I'm saying? And they just got in with set shit.
All of y'all gonna be dressing. All y'all gonna be up there dressing like Boy George here in just a minute. So I suggest y'all get comfortable with it because there's a whole new style coming. Thank you very much for giving us a call here tonight. What do you say? North Atlanta ain't really part of us when you think about it. Then I mean, we only got buses going up there. Okay, well Quavo didn't come down. The time to cut Gwinnett and all that off that was 20 years ago. Y'all gonna wait till the fella come through the damn door with his pearls and his sequin dress on and then talk about, hey, it ain't us. We ain't claiming that. He's sitting up here at this damn rally bigger than daylight. Representing North Atlanta. For all my life. Okay, North Atlanta, this is the get down. This is the get down. Hey, y'all just lucky that he came with the see-through shirt. Damn! Next up is the see-through pants. What? Oh, I'm talking about full Lil Nas X. Next up is the see-through pants. Yes, sir. Just like that shirt he wearing, next up is the see-through pants. They gonna tell you sagging is not enough. It is not enough to be sagging. Sagging is not enough. I'm talking about the full Frank Ocean. Auntie, chill. I'm talking about the full Frank Ocean. Yes, sir. Them little skinny jeans ain't gonna get it. And by the way, he talking about North Atlanta. I'm like, okay. Coming to a hood near you. Fulton, DeKalb, Decatur, College Park. Y'all better get ready. It's gonna be Fredericks of Hollywood. There's gonna be a bunch of folk looking at you crazy if you ain't got it on. You voting for Kamala Harris, ain't you? I can't think of a better argument not to vote for Kamala now. If this is the dress code for voting for Kamala Harris, if this is gonna be the dress code, oh, I can't think of a greater argument not to vote for her. It's like, hey, wait a minute. No. I ain't got no satin and silk to support your campaign. I don't have any satin and silk to support your campaign. Somebody said Quavo is dressed like he's going to a Chris Brown meet and greet. Damn! They said he's dressed like he's going to gonna go to a Chris Brown meet and greet and get his picture took. All right, well, now you all know what happened at the Kamala Harris rally. So if you ready to support, they're ready to support you like Playtex. If you ready to support them, they ready to support you like Cross Your Heart. We're going to go ahead and wrap things up here tonight. I want to thank everyone who has contributed to tonight's program on PayPal, Super Chat, Venmo, Mr. Wade, Stay Positive, Wesley, Mr. Wilborn, Najee, Sandra, and everybody else here who supported tonight's program. Thank you very much for that as well here. If you are new here to the Black Channel, welcome to the Haven of Intelligent Black Thought. We do this every weekend. Click that red subscribe button. Click that yellow notification bell. Join us each and every time that we are here. If you haven't been to our website, blackchannelfilms.com, go check out our groundbreaking best-selling documentary work, 7 a.m. Gentrified Race War, all available on DVD and streaming. Go to blackchannelfilms.com. That is blackchannelfilms.com. I want to thank Mr. Keith Robinson. Ryan is a new member. Everybody here, Natasha, Terrence, Clyde, FBA, everyone here who's contributed to tonight's program in the Super Chat, Venmo, PayPal. Thank you very much for your support. Thank you all for tuning in live or recorded. Thank you for liking, subscribing, and sharing. And this concludes tonight's broadcast of the Black Channel. I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, the Black Authority. And until next time, my brothers and my sisters from around the world, remember, black is the future, and the future is uncompromising.